At the awakening square, the atmosphere became lively as the announcement rang out clearly like a bell, signaling a significant event. The awakening ceremony begins now. Please touch the awakening stone to unlock your profession. Each person called by name stepped up in turn. In the 3rd grade, there was Truong the Tew, the blacksmith. In the 5th grade, there was Lao Thach Tu, the mason. Fong Dung stood there with his arms crossed, his arrogant gaze sweeping over the crowd like a king observing his subjects. He looked down on the awakening people, mumbling about various mundane professions, a useless bunch. He had been watching since the beginning, feeling bored as if watching a dull play. If the awakening granted a supportive profession, it might be less boring than this, Fong Dung muttered, and a henchman next to him immediately chimed in to flatter, "That's right, unlike you, Fong. We awakened the profession of Chief Warrior Glory Great Sword Warrior. This rare profession, how can those masons compare?" Suddenly, someone accidentally bumped into Fong Dung's shoulder. A henchman immediately shouted angrily, "Who the hell doesn't know their place and dared to touch Brother Fong?" The person turned around, politely bowed. "Sorry. Okay, I'm in a hurry." Fong Dung immediately paid attention to the newcomer, the corners of his mouth curling into a wicked smile like a wolf spotting its prey. The henchman beside him speculated, "Brother Fong, that person looks arrogant. Could they be from some wealthy family?" Fong Dung scoffed, his tone full of disdain. "What wealthy family?" He raised his voice as if he wanted the whole square to hear. "A few years ago, the Lam family was mysteriously destroyed, did you know? Lam Han Tut Kid is the last remaining illegitimate child of the Lam family." He mocked, his tone filled with contempt. What a pity one of the top 2 talents from elementary school was ruined like this just the day before. Yet he still dares to come here to awaken. A worthless profession will always be worthless. What foolish dreams does he have? At this moment, Lam Han flashed a slight smile, calm as a still lake. He stood there confidently, unfazed by the whispers around him. Like a lone warrior amidst the noisy crowd, a weak chicken only knows how to squawk. Beside him, did he think awakening a rare profession made him impressive? One person in the crowd mocked Lam Han, touching the awakening stone, his voice calm yet challenging. "Let me show you what true talent is." A massive surge of power erupted, spreading throughout the nearby area like a sudden storm. The crowd stood stunned at the sight before them. A henchman of Fong Dung stammered, "Brother Fong, what is happening here?" They were dazzled by the blinding light, brilliant as they had never seen before. "Could that guy be a genius?" someone exclaimed. Fong Dung grit his teeth in disbelief, feeling frustrated as if burned by fire. "How could this be? That useless guy awakened and caused such a strange phenomenon. If he really stands up, wouldn't I become a laughingstock?" The results displayed clearly. Hidden occupation level 6, Lam Han Beast Tamer. The crowd immediately whispered laughter and mockery erupted. A hidden occupation that is a beast tamer, what a pity. Awakening as a beast. Tamer. Should we call him a genius or a waste? Fong Dung laughed, making it a joke. "Lam Han, you only awakened as a beast tamer." He put on airs, his tone disdainful. "Do you really think you can turn the tables?" This guy showed obvious contempt, continuing to mock. "You must know if the strength of the beast tamer is insufficient, you are worthless." He sneered. "To raise a strong beast, a lot of resources are needed, but do you have enough money? If you obediently crawl over here, I will give you money to buy a crazy dog for a contract. How about that?" At this moment, Lam Han finally spoke, his tone teasing yet sharp like a knife. "Aren't you Fong Dung's little brother? You have nothing but your occupation, right? What barking like a hungry cat? If I don't scold you a bit, it wouldn't match my hot temper, so get lost." Fong Dung became a joke, continuing, "But I don't need to lend you money. With you here, why would I waste money on a few other crazy dogs?" After hearing this, Fong Dung's face turned red from anger, his fist raised as if he wanted to crush his opponent. "This kind of useless person, I will crush you." Just then, decisive footsteps sounded. Bai Bang appeared, delivering a straight kick to Fong Dung's face, her aura cool like a legendary female hero. She turned to scold, her voice cold. "Who do you think you are to dare to bicker with my student? Get lost or I'll strip you down." Fong Dung fell silent, filled with resentment, but only dared to mutter. Immediately, that guy ordered his henchman, "Let's go." He didn't dare confront Bai Bang, even though she was just a teacher, but the Bai family was not someone he could touch. He gritted his teeth, secretly vowing, "I will let Lam Han go today and deal with him later." Bai Bang turned to Lam Han, her eyes sparkling with praise. "Kid, you're not bad. You managed to awaken a hidden occupation." Lam Han scratched his head, embarrassed like a student caught doing something wrong, replied, "Ms. Bai, please don't tease me anymore." Bai Bang immediately changed her attitude, her tone serious like an older sister advising her younger sibling. "This kid has said many times outside of school, you must call me sister. You dare to sneak in to participate in the awakening ceremony? Really bold of you." Lam Han hurriedly pleaded, grimacing as if caught in a difficult position. "It hurts, hurts, hurts! Sister Bang, be gentle." Seeing this, Bai Bang softened her tone a bit, her gaze less severe. She took out a card, handed it to him, her voice full of concern. "Beast tamers are a bottomless pit. You take this money to find a decent beast. No matter what, first you must improve your strength, got it? In the future, I will definitely repay you." Bok Bang, after hearing this, pretended to be angry and playfully scolded, "You smug little brat, I will crush your dog head." The scene shifted to another place in Lam Han's small room. He walked in, his face weary, as if he had just gone through a long day of fighting. Sitting down, Lam Han seemed to be preparing for something important, his eyes flashing with determination. Suddenly, a distinct change appeared on his face, like a flash of light in the night. "Finally back. Next, we are going to go big." The system in his head echoed with a mechanical yet excited voice. "Congratulations, host, for successfully awakening. The Divine-level Beastmaster system has been activated." The system began to introduce Lam Han's background. Previously, he was the young master of the Lum family, a prestigious top-tier clan. But 3 years ago, the Lum family was destroyed in a terrifying monster wave, leaving Lam Han in the pain of loss like a lonely survivor among the ruins. But fortunately, at that moment, I had time-traveled here. Lam Han murmured, his eyes sparkling with hope. He began to understand the system, which could only be activated after awakening. The system's voice continued to echo. "Are you happy? Do you know how I spent those 3 years? Waiting, longing for so many days, finally activating this thing. Today I have also become someone with muscles." On the information panel, Lam Han's name clearly appeared, Occupation Beast. Master, first transition hidden occupation. Level 1, Strength 70, Agility 50, Spirit 110, Physique 60, no equipment, Skill. Contract, Spirit Level 1, Beastmaster, Space 1,000,000, Revive. Beastmaster, Level 1. The system announced, "The host has completed the awakening of the occupation. The Beastmaster system has been activated, releasing the side quest Mystic Rescue Thief Energy Rebirth. With just 10,000 Heavenly Dragon coins, the host can unlock the Super Fun mode, making you taller, stronger, and tougher." Lam Han felt furious, as if he had been doused with cold water. "I just got a little money from Sister Bang, and you're already coveting it. Take it and see what this system intends to do." Suddenly, a blinding light burst forth, causing Lam Han to be dazed, as if lost in a strange world. "What is this? Where is this?" The system continued with an enthusiastic tone. "Congratulations, host, for completing the side quest, Mystic Rescue Thieves. The Super Fun mode has been activated, unlocking ultra-rare Beastmasters." The system further announced, discovering that the host only had a first transition occupation, currently able to unlock a number of Beastmasters that could be won with no unlocks available. Lam Han pondered carefully like a strategist before a battle. "Each occupation has 10 levels as a transition, and in each transition I can only sign a contract with one Beastmaster. Choosing wrong from the start will directly affect combat strength. After all, I don't have money to buy additional Beastmasters. Moreover, the summoned beasts provided by the system must not be too bad." You pressed the screen, firmly mumbling, "Effendi." Suddenly, a tiny creature peeked out from the void with sharp, cold eyes full of killing intent, like a tiny warrior ready to fight. The system chimed to congratulate the host for activating one of the ancient 10 fiends. Thinking, Lam Han was stunned, looking disappointed as if he had just been tricked painfully. "I recharged 100,000 Sky Dragon coins and only got an ant. What the hell is this? It's worse than a 9.99 knife. Can I return this?" The system didn't let you be disappointed for long, continuing to announce the discovery that the celestial beast had signed a contract with the host and was starting to evolve, about to enter the second form. Lam Han was astonished, frustrated, as if being forced to buy low-quality goods. "A forced buying place. I don't have time to sign a contract with an ant." But right before your eyes, a girl suddenly appeared from thin air. The system announced that the evolution was complete. The celestial beast thought it had activated combat mode. Lam Han was excited, his eyes shining as if he had found treasure. Unbelievable, this is a huge surprise. It seems tomorrow's trial will definitely win. The scene shifts to the next day at the training ground, the haunted mountain range. A teacher stood on the podium, his voice booming like a general announcing orders. "Students, next you will begin your first leveling exercise after awakening your profession." He paused and continued. Teacher Bak Bang, who was supposed to lead the team, has an unexpected commitment. So today, trainer Thu Luyen Tao Sung will lead the team. While teacher Tao Sung was explaining, Lam Han stood to the side, engrossed in interacting with his summoned beast through the teleportation gate. With a booming voice like a general announcing orders, everyone will be transferred to an area suitable for their level. Although this trial exercise is not too difficult, I still have to remind you to pay attention to safety. Suddenly, someone bumped into Lam Han's shoulder. He turned around to see Long Thien Kiu, the close friend with a bright smile like early sunshine, eagerly starting a conversation. "Little lamb, have you found your summoned beast yet? If not, let's act together." Long Thien Kiu, with the profession of berserker, is a brave warrior always by Lam Han's side. Feng Dong nearby spoke up with a disdainful tone, as if thinking himself above all. "Lam Han, I'll help you catch a few spare summoned beasts." His face showed a malicious look like a snake ready to strike. "Or maybe you should learn a few barking dog sounds. I'll also show you what a summoned beast looks like." Lam Han didn't care, replying in a sharp, teasing tone. "Who is the dog barking at?" Feng Dong continued arrogantly. "The dog is barking at you." But he immediately realized he had just shot himself in the foot. Roaring as if poked in a sore spot, he charged at Lam Han like a disturbed beast. Lam Han quickly dodged Feng Dong's punch, his movements as agile as the wind continuing to tease. A gentle yet challenging tone, that's all. "Haven't you eaten yet?" Feng Dong, sweating, feeling uneasy as if doused with cold water. Just an ordinary beast. Tamer. How can his strength surpass mine? Could it be that Bak Bang gave him some treasure yesterday? Just then Teacher Tao shouted loudly, his voice full of authority. "Lam Han, it's your turn." "What are you doing?" "Hurry and go through the teleport gate to your leveling area." Next to him, Long Thien Kiu looked worried, his gaze like an older brother caring for his younger sibling. "Tu Lum, it's not safe for you to go in alone." "I'll go with you." Lam Han reassured, his voice confident like a warrior ready for battle. "Just relax, I can handle it." Feng Dong stood outside, a sinister smile like someone plotting, Lam Han, Lam Han. "I've already told Teacher Tao beforehand. In this trial, don't expect to survive." Teacher Tao's face turned sour, showing annoyance, as if offended, thinking, "A kid daring to get close to Bak Bang, she's meant to be mine. Anyone who blocks my path will know my strength." He watched Lam Han step into the teleport gate, determined, "I must deal with that brat." Lam Han entered the leveling area, assessing the situation with the caution of a strategist. This is the habitat of the rapid wind wolf, a silver leveling area recommended level 1120. Note that only the most qualified professionals are absolutely prohibited from entering this area. Tao Sung intentionally led me here, didn't he? Suddenly, terrifying sounds emerged from behind a pack of fierce rapid wind wolves like ghosts in a storm were approaching. Lam Han felt a little anxious, but quickly regained his composure. His voice gentle as if calling a friend, "Not wake up, I'm still alive here." "But to kill me, Tao Sung is still far from it." Hearing the call of its master, Jacnia began to awaken. Her petite body immediately transformed into a beautiful girl, as if she stepped out of a painting with flowing white hair and sparkling red eyes. Her sharp gaze directed forward. The system announced, along with her voice, "Master, I'm ready." Information displayed combat form of the ancient 10 beasts, level 10 strength, 800 agility, 700 spirit, 600 physique, 900. Skill and transformation level 10. Increase all basic attributes by 30%. Strength level 10 increases strength attributes by 50%. Lam Han was excited, thinking to himself, "Let's see how formidable the ancient 10 beasts really are." His information board was also updated. Name Lam Han, profession first tier beast. Tamer, hidden profession level 1. Strength 70 plus 80 increased by 10% from beast language. Agility 50 plus 70 increased by 10% from beast language. Spirit 110 plus 60 increased by 10% from beast language. Physique 60 plus 90 increased by 10% from beast language. No equipment skills. Life contract level 1. Spatial beast taming level 1. The system announced, "Congratulations, the host has activated the first battle mission, eliminate 10 fierce beasts. Reward 100 points." The beast Jacnia immediately sprang into action, delivering a powerful punch to the rapid wind wolf charging at him. One punch, then a kick, he struck as fast as lightning, causing the fierce wolves to tumble like leaves in the wind. Wolves usually hunt in packs, yet in the blink of an eye, the entire pack of Gale wolves was taken down by Jacnia, each one lying gasping for breath, tongues lolling out as if about to die. Lam Han stood there calmly, hands in his pockets, witnessing the entire scene with satisfaction like an audience enjoying a perfect performance. Jack Nia gently landed after the lethal strikes, her beautiful face still cold, showing no traces of the recent battle, like a frost flower amidst the battlefield. The master has dealt with everything. Lam Han couldn't hide his satisfaction with his beast, both beautiful and powerful. The first performance was as impressive as a perfect symphony. He clapped in appreciation. No wonder she is one of the 10 great ferocious beasts. In less than a minute, 7 Gale wolves had been exterminated. If he waited for a knot to grow up, wouldn't everything here be swept away? Lam Han's system announced he had leveled up from level 1 to level 3. Strength, agility, spirit, and physique stats all increased significantly after defeating 7 out of 10 ferocious beasts. However, there were still 3 ferocious beasts left, and he had no idea how harsh the upcoming challenges would be. The overly easy start filled Lam Han with enthusiasm and confidence, like a warrior just stepping onto the battlefield with overwhelming momentum. Although his combat power was not yet comparable to the best, it was close to that of ordinary combat professions. Jack still stood there, obediently waiting for orders from Lam Han, his eyes cold yet full of loyalty. Lam Han encouraged her, his voice full of excitement. My baby, I must be out of my mind to compare attribute stats with her. She is one of the 10 great ferocious beasts of ancient times. Among ferocious beasts of the same level, few can match her right. Looking at the beautiful and adorable Jack Nia, who is half a head shorter than him, Lam Han couldn't help but reach out to pat her head. But looking at her appearance, it was hard to associate her with the title of ferocious beast. On the contrary, she looked like an innocent, pure little girl, unaware of the brutality of the world. At this moment, a strong emotion surged within Lam Han as if he wanted to lean down and kiss Jack Nia's lovely little lips. Suddenly, she lowered her head, her voice full of resignation, yet still exuding loyalty. Master, don't worry. Her actions and words made Lam Han the young man blush like a ripe apple under the summer sun. The two people were engrossed in interaction, unaware that from a distant corner of the tree in the concealed darkness, 3 black-clad special operatives had been silently observing them the whole time. Their cold eyes were sharp like wolves stalking their prey. The crew-cut man, the leader of the group, spoke first, his voice full of suspicion. Tao Sung, didn't you say there was only one kid? Who is that girl? The other man replied, his voice slightly tinged with worry. I don't know, but it's possible that the kid didn't kill Fong Lang. Her strength is not to be underestimated. It turns out these 3 were henchmen of Tao Sung. They couldn't take their eyes off Jack Nia's mesmerizing beauty, a stunning woman with looks and figure like a masterpiece among countless works of art. Depraved thoughts began to creep into their heads. The desire made them drool. They looked pitiful like starving people in front of a lavish feast. Boss, that girl is even prettier than Bai Bang. How about we? One man spoke up, his voice full of greed, while the other agreed like someone under a spell. That's right, killing her like that would be a waste. But the bald boss, the most rational and clear-headed person in the group, seemed to sense the hidden power behind Jock's innocent appearance like a dormant volcano. He warned, it's up to you, but looking at her, it's clear she's not an ordinary person. Wait a minute, the 3 of us will team up to launch a surprise attack on her before she can react. I will take that opportunity to eliminate the kid first. Not hearing a response from his subordinates, the crew-cut man angrily turned around and shouted, Do you 2 want to live or not? One man lay unconscious while the other was grabbed by the girl by the collar, lifted high, his feet dangling like a cat being grabbed by the scruff. Serves those depraved fools right. Even the crew-cut man, though a boss, could not help but be astonished by Jiok's strength and speed. What are you thinking? Why are you... He stuttered in disbelief. The defense system in Jiok's body had activated to the maximum, making her an invincible warrior. The bald boss gaped, unable to believe that from such a distance Jiok had heard all their words and acted so quickly. However, the bald boss was not an ordinary person either. He quickly fled, prioritizing his life. He secretly thought he could silently control the 2nd and 3rd bosses. This girl must be at least level 20. Right behind, Lam Han and Jock chased closely, like 2 arrows flying swiftly. Lam Han shouted, his voice full of determination, Anyat, catch him! Don't let him escape! The bald boss was increasingly curious about Lam Han, his heart full of questions. Who the hell is that kid to have such high-level bodyguards protecting him? Preoccupied with looking back to see if Lam Han and Jock had caught up, he didn't pay attention to what was in front of him. Suddenly, a giant claw of a monster appeared, rushing straight at him like a death whirlwind. The bald boss panicked, only able to shout, Damn it! A little faster! The giant claw of the monster suddenly pounced, tightly embracing the bald boss. Lam Han shouted loudly, his voice full of alertness like a warrior sensing danger. "Jack Anyut, stop!" She immediately stopped nimbly, standing in front of Lam Han like a living shield protecting him from that fierce green monster. This must be one of the 3 fierce beasts that he has to overcome to complete the challenge. Lam Han silently cursed, full of suspicion. "Damn it! Is the proposed level really only 120 here? I didn't expect such a huge and terrifying monster to appear in this challenge." That is the Tot Fong Lang Vung level 22. A gigantic gray wolf, its body radiating flickering green flames like a hellfire blazing. Clearly, this is the leader of the pack of 7 Tot Fong Lang that Jacques Nia had previously eliminated. The hatred between it and the 2 people grew deeper. Its gaze at Lam Han and Jacques Nia was filled with hatred and murderous intent, its fangs bared as if ready to tear apart anyone who dared to confront it. At its feet, the swift-winged Wolf King, the pinned head was dying, raising its hand towards the 2 weakly in a plea for help, like a drowning person. But to prevent it from suffering in pain any longer, the wolf stomped down hard, crushing it like squashing a tiny flea. This Pro-Max Wolf is actually the leader-level mission of Lam Han. If he can defeat the Swift-Wind Wolf King, he will receive an additional 200 beast taming points, a reward as enticing as treasure in the desert. But this is still a tough challenge with the risk of losing one's life always lurking. Level 22. Wolf King is hard to deal with. The best plan is to retreat. Worried for his and Jacques Nia's safety, Lam Han grabbed her hand, his voice urgent. "This guy is not easy to handle. Let's retreat for now." But Jacques Nia's gaze and smile gradually became terrifying, like a warrior awakened with a thirst for battle. Perhaps now she was truly serious. Lam Han looked at her feeling somewhat reassured, thinking to himself, "All right, seeing her like this, if we don't fight, we definitely won't be at peace." He pointed at the Pro-Max Wolf, commanding decisively like a general on the battlefield. "Then let's move forward. Whoever kills it shall be rewarded." Jacques Nia immediately charged at the gigantic monster, her momentum fierce like a storm. The Swift-Wind Wolf King opened its mouth to strike Jacques Nia, but she was quicker, using both hands to grip its upper and lower jaws like a warrior facing a legendary dinosaur. The power of this monster was truly terrifying, causing Jacques Nia to grit her teeth, sweat pouring out like a shower to hold its jaw tightly. Using the very strength of the Wolf King, Jacques Nia took a leap into the sky. The moonlight enveloped her slender figure, creating a streak of blue light illuminating the ground like an ethereal painting. The Swift-Wind Wolf King was not to be outdone, quickly launching a kick using the Swift-Wind speed skill to chase after its prey. Unfortunately, it clawed Jacques Nia, and she screamed in pain, the blow causing her to crash down to the ground, creating a strong shockwave. Lam Han held his head, stepping back a few paces due to the aftershock, filled with worry before the terrifying power of this gigantic wolf. It landed right where Jacques Nia fell while she struggled to get back up. The Swift-Wind Wolf King raised its gigantic foot, preparing to deliver a fatal blow. The deadly strikes came in succession, both fast and powerful, like blades constantly slashing down. Jacques Nia put all her strength into defense, but if this continued, she wouldn't last long. Lam Han was terrified, witnessing the uneven match between Jacques Nia and the Swift-Wind Wolf King. Indeed, the level difference was too great. In a direct confrontation, he had very little advantage. Suddenly, from somewhere, another Swift-Wind Wolf lunged at Lam Han. He cursed inwardly, his voice filled with frustration. "Damn it, these guys don't know how to play fair, sneaking in for a surprise attack." No, not just one. 3 Swift-Wind Wolves charged in all at once. Lam Han quickly dodged the beast in front, but the other 2 silently approached from behind, ambushing him. He grabbed the tail of the wolf in front of him and shouted loudly, "You guys are still too young!" With all his strength, Lam Han gained momentum and threw the Swift-Wind Wolf towards the 2 behind like a skilled shot-put athlete. The system announced that 70% of the mission was completed, adding 10% of the power of insight. Thanks to that, Lam Han was significantly stronger than at the beginning, and the effort to eliminate the Wolf King was now much less. The number of completed missions for him increased to 9 out of 10. Lam Han approached the wolf in front of him and executed a powerful jump. His cold face signaled a tragic outcome. He grabbed its jaw just like Insight did with the Swift-Wind Wolf King. But unlike that, Lam Han tore the beast apart decisively. The system announced mission completion. 10 out of 10 killed the 10th ferocious beast. Lam Han and Insight had completed their first mission, earning 100 Beastmaster points. Thanks to the enhanced power, Lam Han shouted to signal Insight. Using a combined attack and fury, she felt a new wave of power flowing through her body, no longer afraid of the deadly attacks from the Swift-Wind Wolf King. The system notification in his mind indicated that he had used 100 Beastmaster points to awaken the raging attack skill of Heavenly Insight. This skill deals damage equal to 100% of one's own strength to the target, with a cooldown time of 5 minutes. Insight transformed back into the form of a small ant crawling along the legs of the gigantic wolf. All Swift-Wind Wolf Kings were startled by her sudden disappearance, looking around confused, like a lost person. Truly still as foolish as a dog, Lam Han thought to himself. Suddenly, the Swift-Wind Wolf King felt a strong force hit its stomach, but it was too late. Insight, like Edmund in Legend, transformed into a giant ant thanks to the raging attack skill. The enhanced power demanded that she pour all her mana into delivering a single blow. She gradually shrank back to her human form, but remained in a defensive stance, ready for the next strike. Taking advantage of the remaining power from the raging attack, Insight grabbed the belly of the Swift Wind. Wolf King tearing its body apart into 2 pieces as if ripping a thin sheet of paper. The super beast let out one last roar before collapsing. Insight landed on the ground, creating a loud crash that made Lam Han cover his face and step back a few paces. She met him, stabilizing her state, her gaze still sharp and cold. The system announced that the leader-level mission to eliminate the Swift-Wind Wolf King was completed, earning 200 Beastmaster points and an additional 1,500 experience points. But Lam Han seemed not to pay attention to the system's announcement. In his mind, there was only the image of Insight and the terrifying power she had just displayed. He murmured, filled with astonishment, "Damn, the level 22 Wolf King was taken down immediately." Zhao Ni smiled triumphantly, causing Lam Han to marvel, thinking to himself, "This is truly a fierce beast." The system immediately announced, the mechanical voice sounding excited. "The host has defeated the Windfang Wolf King, dropped a common weapon. Please check when the host has defeated the Windfang Wolf King. Dropped a special weapon, please check." Zhao Ni knelt down in a posture like an athlete preparing to sprint, her face still holding a strange smile, exuding a terrifying aura. But immediately after, the state of furious attack ended like a switched-off light, and Zhao Ni returned to her original innocent demeanor. Her eyes bright with joy, she exclaimed in an excited voice like a child, "Master!" then rushed towards Lam Han, hugging him tightly with pride. "I killed those dogs." "Hey, calm down," Lam Han said. This was the first time he was tightly hugged by a girl, feeling Zhao Ni's chest press against him, causing his face to turn as red as a ripe apple. Despite feeling shy, he was deeply impressed by her terrifying strength. "Oh, so this is how strong it is." Zhao Ni looked up at him, her eyes drooping with sleepiness, her voice soft. "Master, I'm so tired." She immediately fell asleep, ignoring that they were still in a dangerous area. The recent battle seemed to have drained her energy, returning her to a small, adorable state like a puppy. Lam Han looked at her, joy swelling in his heart, kneeling beside Zhao Ni and gently patting her head like he was petting a beloved pet. "You worked hard, rest first," Jack thought, yawning and smiling. He, got it, master." Lam Han also took the opportunity to rest, leaning against a nearby tree, his eyes sparkling like an explorer who just found treasure. He opened the system to check the information. The energy-saving mode was restoring his strength. Killing monsters drops rare items, just like in the online games of his past life. He excitedly tapped on the screen, mumbling, "Let's see what equipment I've dropped." Lam Han's eyes lit up as if he had found gold upon seeing the special weapon. "My luck is off the charts." It was the Silver Wolf Fang Sword, requiring level 22 to use, adding 50 strength points, 80 agility points, and having a frenzy effect when the user is injured. All attributes increase by 5%. Even the common grade weapon was not ordinary. The Ice Staff only required level 10 to use, increasing 50 mana points and incorporating a freezing effect with a 30% chance to freeze the target for 1 second. Eager to check his status on the system, Lam Han thought to wait for anyone to recover before continuing the hunt. Leveling up while collecting items to sell for money, he had just wiped out that group, wondering what level he was at now. The system screen displayed a warning. Lam Han has reached level 10, the highest level of the Beast to Mare first transition. He needs to quickly advance his career class to continue leveling up. Lam Han sighed with excitement like a warrior who had just passed a great challenge. Unexpectedly, killing a Wolf King had caused his experience to skyrocket to level max. Looking at the pile of wolf corpses that he and Zhao Ni had just eliminated, Lam Han planned to continue hunting monsters to strengthen his power while conveniently earning more items to sell for money. But now at the maximum level, you don't need to rush anymore. There are still 2 black-clad agents that Jacques thinks have been knocked out, Lam Han calculated with a sharp gaze like a strategist. However, before leaving here, you must have a little chat with the two surviving brothers to ask clearly about the person behind this plot. You smiled with delight, secretly thinking that the upcoming time wouldn't be too boring. The moonlight high above still sparkled green, cold, and indifferent, as if it didn't care about the battles that had just taken place on the ground. A few hours later at the teleportation gate, Tao Sung and the medical team were ready and waiting. Tao Sung ordered, his voice calm, but concealing a sinister undertone. Everyone in the medical team, listen carefully. These are the trainees participating in the challenge who will be returning. He continued to instruct like a commander preparing for a large plan ready to examine and treat the trainees upon their return. But in his mind, malicious thoughts were swirling. He smiled wickedly, thinking, however, some people cannot be so lucky unable to hold out until they return to be treated. Clearly he was referring to Lam Han. Bak Bang suddenly called out, interrupting Tao Sung's train of thought. Bak Bang appeared to check on her student's situation. Her presence made Tao Sung uncomfortable, like someone whose plans had been disrupted. He laughed awkwardly, trying to sound friendly. Ms. Bak, why are you here? And didn't you say you were busy today? It's just to pick up the trainees returning from the trial. Just leave it to me, why do you need to come over? But Bak Bang, with a gaze as sharp as a blade, seemed to have a clear understanding of what Tao Sung was doing to Lam Han. She spoke with a cold tone. Tao Sung, shouldn't you explain a little about Lam Han's trial? Tao Sung still thought he could gloss over it, responding with a false sense of confidence. Ms. Bak, I know you and Lam Han have a good relationship, but as teachers we need to treat each student fairly. He even boasted his tone smooth like a seasoned person. I can share my experience, or do you want to follow me to a quiet place so we can discuss carefully? As a teacher who always talks about fairness, he was brazenly harassing in front of everyone, truly deserving of a lesson from Bak Bang right away. Bak Bang swung the knife, the sharp blade pressed against Tao Sung's throat, her voice icy. Tao Sung, I need an explanation. Tao Sung began to panic, his voice trembling. Ms. Bak, I don't quite understand your meaning. Bak Bang angrily shouted. Lam Han is just a newly awakened beast tamer, yet you assigned him to the silver-level training area. There, let alone protecting himself, he can't even find a temporary battle beast. The shiny blade pressed against Tao Sung's throat, and if Bak Bang applied a little more force, his throat would be cut. She continued to question, her voice filled with rage. Do you think that because his family is gone, you can bully him at will? Tao Sung grasped the blade, trying to push it away, still pretending. Ms. Bak, perhaps you have misunderstood me. I have my reasons for doing so. Tao Sung quickly found a reasonable explanation, his tone smooth like a veteran in evasive tactics. Lam Han awakened as a beastmaster. If he doesn't go through the trials, how can he quickly level up? Besides, I never told him to go to his death. I even arranged for 3 teaching assistants to go along and support him. Bak Bang felt a bit reassured by this, slowly retracting her knife, but her gaze remained as sharp as a sword ready to strike down. You'd better pray for Lam Han's safety. If he gets hurt anywhere, I will cut off the corresponding part of you to compensate him. Tao Sung could only scratch his head and smile awkwardly, but in his twisted mind, dark thoughts still churned. Are you only daring to show attitude towards me now? Wait until you see Lam Han's corpse. Let's see how cold you can remain. He had begun to imagine a heated scene with Bak Bang silently telling himself to seize the opportunity. Suddenly, an announcement rang out, cutting through the tense argument between Bak Bang and Tao Sung. The students participating in the trials have returned. The first to step out from the teleportation gate was Lun Long Tweet Class 6 with the rare profession Storm Mage, one of the top talents in Nut Trung. She confidently walked out, her aura regal like a queen just conquering the battlefield, as if this trial was merely a stroll. The sound of applause rang out continuously like waves lapping against the shore. Oh my, it's Lun Long Tweet. Indeed, she was the first to complete the trial, truly one of the top talents in Nat Trung. One person less than her Lam Han truly does not deserve comparison. Fong Dung, the next to complete the trial, trailed behind Lun Long Tweet, sweetly flattering, Lun Tweet, indeed, the best student in the school, you even came out before me. Seeing she didn't respond, he took the chance to press on his tone full of confidence, as if he considered himself the center of attention. Lun Tweet, we are the 2 great talents of Nat Trung. We definitely need to be closer from now on. But Lun Long Tweet ignored him coldly, dodging his hug, her voice as sharp as ice. If it were the old Lam Han, I might have considered it. But as for you, forget it. Her words were like a bucket of cold water poured straight over Fong Dung's vain ambitions, making him furious, his face as red as if slapped in front of the crowd. From the teleportation gate, another person stepped out. Lum Q hurriedly ran over, panting anxiously, asking, "Has Tio Lum too returned?" Fong Dung saw him smile disdainfully, his tone full of contempt like a victorious person. "I didn't expect a fat guy like you to survive the trial. You really are lucky. However, your good friend wasn't so fortunate. Lum Han must have died in the secret realm." Hearing the venomous words aimed at his brother, Lum Q gritted his teeth, his anger erupting like a volcano. He roared defiantly, "Fong Dung, say that again if you dare!" But to Fong Dung, Lum Q wasn't scary at all. He arrogantly retorted, his tone filled with arrogance. "Say whatever, Lum Han is dead in there. He's just a useless beastmaster. How long can he hold out?" Seeing Fong Dung increasingly dominating, Lum Q shouted angrily, ready to charge in, "Give him a beating." Tao Sung, standing nearby, seeing the noisy scene, shouted loudly, "Shut up!" He turned to Lum Q, sternly scolding him. "Long Thin Q, is Lum Han your father? Stop thinking about others. Focus on improving your own strength." Teacher Lum Q remained still. Tao Sung urged, his voice irritated, "Quickly move to the side, don't obstruct the other students." Returning, knowing Tao Sung and Fong Dung were on the same side, Lum Q had to swallow his anger, comforting himself. "Everything will be fine. Lum Han will definitely come back." Time passed, minute by minute, the training session extended by another hour. Fong Dung sat confidently on a rock, majestic like a small king, while the younger ones diligently massaged him. They meticulously asked with flattery, "Brother Fong, you've been working hard these days. Brother Fong, is this strength enough?" Meanwhile, Lum Q anxiously watched every person stepping out from the teleportation gate, his heart burning with worry for his brother. Everyone else had returned. Why was Lum Han still not out? He thought to himself, anxious as if standing on a pile of embers. Fong Dung's underlings, seeing Lum Q worried, seized the opportunity to tease their tone full of sarcasm. "Do you still need to think about it? He must have died in there. After all, he's a beast tamer. Dying among beasts is considered dying in the right place." Suddenly, from afar, a rock flew like a whirlwind with terrifying speed, striking the heads of Fong Dung's underlings. The retribution finally came. The rock soared like lightning, causing them to fall over. Lum Q was startled and turned around, then immediately felt joy upon recognizing the familiar figure. Lum Han strode out confidently, his eyes filled with disdain, his tone cold. "I played until I lost track of time. Since when did the school have so many noisy dogs like this?" Lum Q saw him return. Happiness surged like waves, shouting, "Little Lum Tu!" He rushed toward Lum Han, excitedly shouting, "Finally, you're back!" Bat. Not only Lum Q, but Bak Bang, standing beside, also breathed a sigh of relief, her voice gentle like an older sister. "You scared me to death, kid." But not everyone was happy. Tao Sung frowned, filled with doubt and anger. How could this happen? I clearly sent 3 people to deal with him. How could this useless guy still be safe and sound? He didn't give up, still harboring intentions to assassinate Lum Han, secretly thinking, "Lum Han, consider yourself lucky this time, but don't think I will easily let it go." Fong Dung stepped forward, speaking disdainfully. "Unbelievable! You completed beast tamer training without a pet. What can you achieve? You must have gone inside and just hiding in a corner, right?" Lum Q, now with a brother supporting him, immediately voiced his rebuttal, his tone full of anger. "Fong Dung, are you stupid? Do you really think everyone is like you, always being pampered?" Lum Han heard the sarcastic words of Fong Dung, feeling amused, and spoke in a challenging tone sharp as a blade. "Am I being protected? Just try it once and you'll know." Before Lum Han could finish, Fong Dung quickly interjected, his tone mocking, as if he placed himself above all. "Lum Han, this useless beast tamer has been hiding in the haunted mountains for so long and finally decided to come out. This is truly cowardly." Despite being insulted, Lum Han did not get angry. On the contrary, he calmly stopped Lum Q, who was about to charge forward, growling. "What did you say?" Lum Han replied lightly, a sneer blooming on his lips like a sharp blade. "Fong Dung, have you barked enough? With your abilities, you aren't even worthy of carrying my pet's shoes." Hearing Lum Han say that Fong Dung was furious, his face red as if burned by fire, but he still tried to maintain a calm demeanor. "Oh, really?" Because his pride was hurt, he challenged loudly like an animal cornered. "But for the sake of my pride, I bet a game. Do you want to bet on who has a higher level? If you win, I will give you 100,000 Tian Long coins, but if you lose, you have to kneel and call me Grandpa." Lam Han was not afraid at all, and immediately agreed on the spot, his voice full of confidence like a warrior ready for battle. A bet is a bet. Later, I will slap you down into the ground. But Lam Q quickly spoke up to advise, worried like an older brother. Lam Han, don't be hasty, the coach is still here. Lam Han turned to Chao Sung, smiled, his tone calm, but full of implication. Teacher Cao, this is our matter. I hope you won't interfere. Cao Sung coughed a few times, reluctantly, agreed, his voice stern like an elder. Of course. But once you have made a bet, you must keep your word. Honesty is the virtue that our Nut Trong values the most. On the surface, that was the case, but inside Chao Sung was secretly delighted as if he had just found gold. Lam Han, you are seeking your own death. I wouldn't mind giving you the knife. Bai Bang, standing beside, did not oppose. On the contrary, she looked at her student with a proud gaze mixed with a familiar air of intrigue, as if she knew he was preparing for a grand performance. This kid is definitely planning to deceive others. Then, without further hesitation, Chao Sung stepped forward, calling out in a powerful tone as if opening a battle. All right, since the stakes have been set, let's begin. Lam Q was still not at ease, stepping forward, his voice earnest. Teacher Cao, although I am not in this bet, I am Lam Han's brother. I will go with him in this battle. The system suddenly displayed his level, along with the level 2 warrior. Fang Dong, hearing this, now spoke with a tone of contempt, as if he stood at the peak. Just level 2, what is there to show off about? Look closely. This is the level that a genius should achieve. The information about his level appeared, Great Sword Warrior level 3. The group of underlings saw this, and immediately joined in shouting praises like a group of enthusiastic spectators. Big Brother is at level 3. Brother Fong is at the peak of level 3. Oh no, the tiger is a rare profession. Lam Q's face turned pale, his heart anxious as if standing on a pile of hot coals. Damn it, that bastard Fong Dong has reached level 3, got careless, and is getting too bold. Fong Dong uttered a provocative remark, his voice triumphant like a little king. Lam Han, it's your turn. Long Thien Q, that weakling is only in middle school. You a useless guy, how could you possibly be better than him? He confidently declared, I see you two kneeling down, banging your heads, calling me Grandpa. Lam Q retorted angrily, voice full of indignation. What are you so arrogant about? But Lam Han raised his hand to stop him, his tone soothing like a calm strategist. Wait a moment. Lam Kio, confused, turned to Xiao Lam Zi. Lam Han smiled, exuding a formidable power, overwhelming everything around like a sudden storm. You arrogantly replied, voice sharp as a sword. Only level 3. I'm already level 10, and I can easily surpass you by 8 blocks. The information about your level was finally revealed, Beast Master level 10. Everyone around gasped in astonishment as if witnessing a miracle and exclaimed, Level 10. Fang Dong was stunned, his throat choked up, unable to speak. He couldn't believe that someone once regarded as a useless Beastmaster could reach level 10 so quickly. His whole body trembled, he gritted his teeth and roared in anger. That Lam Han must be cheating. Even the spirit commander couldn't level up that fast. Facing the fury, Lam Han just smiled gently, his voice calm. Have you ever heard of the concept of hidden professions? Yeah. After saying that, he walked over to Tao Sung, speaking softly, yet with weight. Teacher Tao, I hope you can supervise the promise made in our bet. Lam Han turned to sincerely thank the teaching assistants who had quietly protected him, helping him safely reach level 10. Tao Sung witnessed this, a wave of indescribable fear rising in his heart. He knew his secret orders, and worse, he was still alive right in front of him. From a hidden corner of the territory, Tu Yet quietly observed the astonished looks as Lam Han achieved level 10. She admired him, mixed with complex emotions. Wasn't he once a genius? Still swirling with level 5 sorcerer energy, she coldly spoke, her sharp gaze directed at Lam Han. Just wait, I will catch up with you soon. Lam Han was surprised. Miss Bach, why are you here? Bak Bang smiled gently. My work is done. Now my position is here beside you all. A voice interjected. Miss Bak brother Lam Han leveled up to 10 in just a few hours. Before Bak Bang could process the information, a roar tore through the air. Tao Sung, his face twisted with rage, charged like a wild beast, throwing a punch with terrifying power aimed at Lam Han. Be careful! Bak Bang shouted loudly, rushing to push Lam Han out of the way, standing in front of the deadly attack. Tao Sung roared like a wounded beast, his eyes bloodshot. The damn rules of the academy won't stop me, he yelled wildly. Today I must end that brat Lam Han. He launched another furious attack. Bak Bang gritted her teeth trying to block it, the force causing her to stagger back a few steps, her whole body shaken. She knelt on one knee, but with strong will she stood tall, her gaze resolute. As long as I am standing here, your plan will never come to fruition, she shouted loudly, delivering a powerful counterkick. Lam Han and Lam Q stood behind, their hearts tight with worry, afraid Bai Bang couldn't withstand the aggression of Chao Sung. His anger reached a peak due to the obstruction. Grabbing Bai Bang, he roared, "You bitch dare to block my way! I will kill you first." Bai Bang found herself in a precarious situation controlled by brute strength. Cao Sung smirked maliciously, withdrew his hand, preparing to deliver the finishing blow, his face contorted with hatred. At the moment of life and death, a dark shadow flashed by like lightning. Lam Han, with astonishing speed, delivered a sky-high kick, sending Cao Sung flying away. He quickly supported Bai Bang, who was staggering anxiously, asking, "Sister, are you okay?" She smiled weakly, her gaze still steadfast. "I'm fine." Lam Han helped her to a safe place, then turned back to face Cao Sung, who was struggling to get up. He wore a cold smile. "Explain a bit, why did you try to kill me like that, huh, teacher?" Cao Sung stumbled to his feet, his eyes red with pain and rage, pointing directly at Lam Han. "It's because of you. My 3 level 15 assistants have disappeared because of you. You eliminated them to steal their experience points, right?" He tried to appear righteous for that inhumane act. "Today I must punish you." But when he was about to rush forward, Cao Sung suddenly stopped. The killing intent dissipated, replaced by horror, as he saw the bodies of the assistants thrown down before him. Cao Sung stood stunned, looking at the familiar faces, now lifeless, his whole body trembling. But the shock quickly gave way to a twisted, sinister smile. Dead, so they can't reveal the truth anymore. Standing there with a proud smile, he suddenly froze. Cao Sung stood there wearing a proud smile, but inside was a raging anger. "Lam Han, even the bodies are here now. What else do you have to deny?" Lam Han heard these words and simply shrugged lightly, his tone calm, as if nothing mattered. "Deny? I only see dead people at the Shadow Mountain. Being kind, I brought them out." He slowly walked towards the body of a teenager lying there, his voice deep and mournful but full of sarcasm. "You, brother, you are so pitiful, dead and still being used by someone like a weapon. If you are unwilling, then come find him in the middle of the night. Don't look for me." As these words were spoken, Cao Sung's expression immediately changed, revealing clear anger. He clenched his fists, charging towards Lam Han, roaring, "I will break all your limbs now. Let's see if you dare to talk nonsense." The crowd witnessing this screamed, trying to stop Cao Sung. "You dare? Little lamb, be careful." But Lam Han was not afraid at all, easily dodging Cao Sung's attack, his movements agile like the wind. He smiled, his tone mocking. "Are you angry because you fear I will reveal your teacher's bad deeds? That's true. Who would have thought a teacher would dare to send someone to harm their own student?" Cao Sung, hearing this, couldn't maintain his composure and shouted, "Shut up! I'm doing this because I want to take revenge for Ahau." Lam Han still maintained a mocking smile, as someone who has seen through everything. "Do you want revenge, or do you want to kill to silence? Don't you know in your heart?" The group from Fongdung outside was excited to see this scene, shouting encouragement. "Teacher Tao, teach that useless one a lesson. Go for it. Teacher Tao. Teacher Tao, Sung." The more he fought, the more aggressive he became, continuously throwing powerful punches at Lam Han. But in his heart, he couldn't stop wondering, full of astonishment. What's going on? How could this useless guy dodge my punch? Even a level 20 combat occupation couldn't do this. How did he do that? Lam Han, with astonishing agility, easily dodged all attacks. He knew Cao Sung was much stronger than him. Facing him head-on was not an option. You quickly summoned your weapon voice, full of confidence. "But I won't just compete with you in physical skills." In his hand was an ice staff, a dangerous weapon with a minimum level requirement of 11. A thin layer of ice quickly spread at Cao Sung's feet, surprising him as if he were bound by an invisible rope. "What's going on?" Before he could understand, Lam Han took advantage of his lightning speed, jumped straight forward towards the man in front, and delivered a powerful kick like a whirlwind, sweeping away the opponent. This attack sent Cao Sung flying a distance, rolling on the ground like a thrown stone. Lam Han gently smiled, his expression satisfied like an artist who just completed a perfect performance. Fortunately, after leveling up, my strength increased significantly, allowing me to suppress Cao Sung. This staff also helped control him. Otherwise, it would be hard to find such a big flaw in him. His eyes lit up, carrying a hint of amusement. As long as I create some distance from now on, I won't need to intervene anymore. After all, my attribute points are only slightly lower than Tao Sung's, but if I switch to Anyat, then... Jack thought, standing on the side, witnessing the whole event, his eyes clearly showing disdain as if looking at a pitiful person. With Tao Sung now, he could only obediently endure. The system displayed her information: celestial perception occupation level, 13 strength, 1, 700 agility, 1, 600 spirit, 500 physique, 1, 800. Skill and transformation level 2 increased all basic attributes by 60%. Strength level 2 increased strength attributes by 60%. As Tao Sung was knocked away, he saw the girl rushing towards him, panicking and shouting, "This is not good!" But Jack didn't give him a chance to fight back. The one who was injured, she gritted her teeth, her face showing anger clearly like a fire blazing. Facing her, Tao Sung was not a match at all. A powerful beam of light descended, shaking the entire sky like thunder in broad daylight. The victory had been decided. Jack stood there firmly, throwing another punch that made the earth and sky seem to tilt. Lam Q on one side witnessed this scene, rejoicing in joy, his voice excited like an audience member before a peak performance. Little Lam is truly outstanding, and he even hit a girl like this. But Bok Bang, after observing everything, fell into contemplation, her eyes full of doubt. "Who is this girl?" Shid, the group of Fong Dung, saw Tao Sung being knocked away and couldn't believe their eyes, shouting in panic. "Teacher Tao has been thrown out. What happened?" Jack Think stood there as if about to go crazy, his spirit fierce like a warrior ready to continue fighting. But Lam Han saw that the situation was not good immediately, loudly ordered, "Anat, come back, listen to the master." The girl immediately calmed down, obediently retreating to his side like a loyal puppy. Lam Han thought to himself, cautious like a strategist. Anyat is an ancient beast. Her identity is too sensitive. Revealing it too early will not be good. It's better to let her return first. She snuggled close to him, happily acting cute, her voice sweet, like a little girl. "Master Anat listens, stops, then is not good." Lam Han did not spare any praise, his voice gentle. "Good, but first you should turn back into an insect." Upon hearing this, the other party smiled contentedly, immediately replying, "Okay, bet." Tao Sung angrily shouted, pointing directly at Lam Han. "Lam Han, you not only killed the teaching assistant, but also colluded with outsiders to oppose me. Where did that girl go?" "Never mind." His face was veined, his eyes blazing with hatred and anger. "A morally depraved student like you?" He clenched his fists, roaring like a beast cornered. "Must be severely punished." But before he could act, a foot was placed on his shoulder, accompanied by a cold, calm voice. "Wait." A man stood with his hands behind his back, his voice steady like an elder, saying, "Teacher Tao, until the matter is investigated clearly, don't hastily blame the student." Tao Sung was pinned to the ground, trying to turn his head wide-eyed in surprise. "Why are you here?" And a second later he shouted, "Director!" The middle-aged man with snow-white hair was indeed Tu Kong Than, the director of Not Trung, Chu Ma Thien Su, level 96. Seeing his appearance, Tao Sung quickly reported, "This voice is agitated. Lam Han with the director. This Lam Han killed the teaching assistant to level up. I want to capture him to deal with him according to the law. He even intended to kill me. Someone like this must be punished severely. Evidence of both people and objects is complete. I respectfully request the director to decide to execute Lam Han." Contrary to Tao Sung's harsh attitude, Lam Han remained extremely calm. Arms crossed, responding nonchalantly. "There's nothing to fear. Anyone can make accusations. Do you really think I would run around just to clear my name?" Director Tu Kong Than spoke in a steady yet authoritative voice. "Lam Han, state your opinion." Lam Han replied confidently like a warrior sure of victory. "Of course, Director. Or should you investigate the cause of the teaching assistant's death first?" Tu Kong Than pointed to the body of the young man hanging, ordering, "Look." He began to analyze in a serious voice. The rib cage is completely shattered, and the internal organs are also severely damaged, over half. This fatal wound was definitely caused by a large monster. Tao Sung was unconvinced and immediately retorted with dissatisfaction. Even if the fatal blow was caused by a monster, it surely involves Lam Han. If not, how could he bring the corpse back? Lam Han smirked proudly, his tone sarcastic, like someone who has seen through everything. "That Tao guy, what a joke. He makes it sound quite smooth for others. It would be a waste not to be a head chef. I only brought your assistant back, yet you insist that I killed him. Why don't you say that person was sent by you to assassinate me, but due to incompetence, he was attacked by the monster? Hearing this, Tao Sung's face turned red, roaring like he had been poked in a sore spot. Nonsense! How could I do such a thing? At this moment, Bak Bong stepped forward, her tone serious, addressing the principal. In the past, Tao Sung arranged for Lum Han to be in a training area unsuitable for his level, showing signs of intentionally harming a student. As for whether he arranged an assistant to protect the student or not, I have doubts about this. Tao Sung was agitated, quickly defending himself, his voice trembling like a cornered man. This is so unfair, Principal. I am a coach. How could I harm a student? This is slander. He emphasized, it's all just Lum Han's words without any evidence. Tu Kung Thun, seeing Tao Sung's intense reaction, turned to Lum Han, his tone serious. Lum Han accusing a coach is not a trivial matter. Do you have any evidence? Upon hearing this, Tao Sung smugly thought, everyone I sent has died, no one is alive to testify. Even if they were alive, would anyone stand on Lum Han's side to accuse me? But Lum Han was extremely confident, responding with a cunning smile. I am not framing anyone. The reason I say this is, of course, because I have evidence in hand. Bak Bong and Lum Q, upon hearing this, were both stunned, their eyes filled with astonishment. Lum Han continued, his tone calm yet sharp. At the time the incident occurred, these three were secretly following me. Unexpectedly, they encountered Tat Fong Lang Vung, an assistant, who died on the spot. That is why I had to take action to eliminate Tat Fong Lang Vung. As for why Teacher Tao sent 3 people to follow me in the dark, these 2 can definitely provide the answer for us. While speaking, Lum Han kicked the butt of the bound agent, causing him to scream in pain, crying like a punished child. He and his accomplices panicked and shouted in trembling voices, I said that Teacher Tao arranged for us to follow Lum Han, and when necessary to create a hypothesis that he died under the claws of the beast. That's right, it was all arranged by Teacher Tao. Don't treat us like this anymore. We can't take it anymore. Beneath their feet, a swarm of vicious ants like tiny warriors obeying strict orders crawled all over their feet and bit furiously, causing Lum Han to smile sinisterly. He thought to himself like someone holding a supreme secret. There is an ancient ant in my stomach. Forcing these guys to confess is really too easy. He turned to Tao Sung, his voice low but sharp as a knife. Teacher Tao, do you plan to explain to me? Tao Sung was caught off guard, his face pale like a person who has been exposed, not knowing how to respond. In a panic, he intended to flee, angrily cursing inwardly, Damn these incompetent fools! How could they get caught so easily? But in an instant, he froze. A Tiansu talisman of thunderlight suddenly activated, the dazzling lightning wrapped tightly around him, causing him to tilt his head back and roar in pain like a beast caught in a net. Zikong Chung, as the headmaster, decisively pointed out the crime, his voice solemn like a divine judgment. Tao Sung, as a teacher of the Institute, why do you intend to harm a student? You have seriously violated the limits of the Institute. Prepare to receive appropriate punishment. Bak Bang stood aside, gleefully smiling, feeling as if a burden had been lifted. She held Lum Han's hand, her voice gentle like an older sister. The matter is settled. Let's go now. You just finished your training test. You must be tired. Let's take my car back. Both were about to leave, but suddenly stopped, astonished by the figure in front of them. Lun Lung Tweet stepped forward, arms crossed, her tone indifferent, yet curious. Lum Han, did you really kill the Wind Wolf King? She leaned in closer to Lum Han, her eyes lighting up like an explorer discovering a mystery. How did you kill the Wind Wolf King? By the way, Miss Lan, could you keep a little distance? Lun Lung Tweet held Lum Han's hand, explaining seriously his profession was different from other close combat professions that lean towards ranged attacks. When there are no teammates to draw fire, you cannot confront the Wind Wolf King directly. She moved closer, her voice enticing like a warrior challenging an opponent, explaining that he must have allied with a powerful spirit beast, Lam Han. Let's join a simulated battle so I can experience your abilities. Lam Han glanced to the right, avoiding her gaze, his voice hesitant, like a student being asked a difficult question. Saying this now seems a bit unreasonable, doesn't it? He thought, filled with surprise. How could the cold, icy appearance of Lun Lung Tweet have such a curious personality like a child? Bak Bang stood next to them, lightly tapping Lun Lung Tweet's arm, her tone serious. Miss Lin, I understand your desire to enhance your strength. She crossed her arms in front of her chest, continuing with Lun Lung Tweet. But right now you need to summarize your experiences from the training, not to compete in strength here. The sound of invisible sparks flew between the two like two swords clashing. Lun Lung Tweet stood firm in her stance, her voice resolute. I'm just curious about the fighting style of Spirit Beast Masters, I hope you understand. Bak Bang replied uncompromisingly like a protective older sister. Sorry, Lum Han just fought, he needs to rest now. He cannot agree to your request. Lum Han stood in the middle trembling as he raised his hand, his voice awkward. That... He hurriedly interrupted Bak Bang, trying to ease the situation. Today all the students are tired after the practice. How about we dismiss early? But both turned to glare at him, causing Lam Han to awkwardly smile. Beating the drum for the village, the weather is so nice. Bak Bang furrowed her brow, her heart filled with doubt like an investigator. First, the mysterious girl appeared, and now it's Lan Lang Tuyit. How did this kid Han become a playboy without anyone noticing? Why do I care about these things? Han and I don't have any special relationship. She crossed her arms, turned her back, and walked away, her tone indifferent. If everything here is settled, then I'll leave first. Wish you all a safe trip home. Lam Han flinched, quickly replying, I'm a bit tired today. Lan Lang Tuyet exuded dark energy, like a small storm pressing classmate Lam Han. You haven't answered my question. Lam Han flinched, quickly responding, I'm a bit tired today. Let's find a chance to talk next time. Lan Lang Tuyet turned away, her voice light but firm. Got it. Remember your promise. Lam Han breathed a sigh of relief, secretly lamenting. This girl finally left. But why does Sister Bang seem so angry? Lam Han quickly responded in surprise. That's right, it can't be because I secretly participated in the practice rite. Dien Bien patted Lam Han on the shoulder, admiring him. He shook his head and told himself, Forget it. Why think too much? There are still many things behind that need to be handled. He thought to himself as his eyes flashed, This person is a friend of my dad. I wonder if I can take this opportunity to raise the price a bit. Dien Bien lowered his head, a sinister smile appearing as he calculated in his mind. This kid isn't very old, surely I can negotiate a good price. The two of them, like two cunning foxes, smiled in unison, truly looking forward to it. Dien Bien extended his hand, starting to quote a price in a cheerful voice. Little lamb, these two pieces of equipment are of good quality. Out of respect for our old friendship, Uncle Dien will give you 5,000 heavenly dragon coins. Lam Han raised his finger to bargain confidently. Uncle Dien, everything must be clear. Even though you know my dad, transactions must still follow the rules. This is equipment dropped from the Wind Demon King. It should be at least 8,000. Dien Bien was displeased, responding in a negotiating tone. Your dad was my close friend when he was alive, 5,000. Lam Han remained calm, a cunning smile on his face. When my dad was alive, he loved luck the most. 888,000 heavenly dragon coins. Dien Bien raised a finger, a shrewd smile appearing like an experienced merchant. Kid 6,666,000 is already quite lucky. Lam Han nodded in satisfaction, responding confidently. Let's settle for 6,666,000. Out of respect for Uncle Dien, I agreed. In his heart, he happily thought, like someone who just won the lottery, this price is even higher than I expected. This time I hit the jackpot. Dien Bien shook Lam Han's hand, smiling. Then let's have a pleasant cooperation. Lam Han also responded cheerfully, pleasant cooperation. But he secretly thought, his eyes flashing, that cunning glare, I feel like this kid is setting me up. Dien Bien pointed to the two cards that the serving girl brought up on the exquisite wooden tray. Little lamb, the money has been transferred to this bank card. The black card is the bank's VIP card. For transactions, we can overdraw up to 3,000 heavenly dragon coins. He patted Lam Han on the shoulder, his tone polite but full of intention. If you need to sell anything or have any requests in the future, just contact us more. Lam Han held two cards and politely replied, Thank you, Uncle Dien. He thought, now that I'm here, I might as well check out a few more magical scrolls. So he watched Lam Han walk around the trading room. Dien Bien pondered, his eyes sparkling like a strategist. Just 10 minutes after awakening, he already possessed such power his future is likely hard to predict. He wore a calculating smile. It seems there will be many opportunities to cooperate with him in the future. Under the blue sky, among the closely packed apartment buildings, a military vehicle appeared, standing out like a warrior among ordinary civilians. A well-dressed man stood upright in front of Lam Han's house. respectfully introducing himself. Butler Liu, from the Bai family. Butler Liu. Young Master Lam, it's been a while. Lam Han smiled respectfully, his voice calm. Since the Lam family weakened, it has indeed been a long time since we last met. Is there something today? Butler Liu, with a serious expression, pointed inside his tone full of goodwill. Miss Bai Bang personally led people to a diamond-level secret realm to catch a void beast for you, but she was also punished by the head of the family for her reckless actions, so she could only send me here. Lam Han approached the door, his heart filled with conflicting emotions like a surging tide. Sister Bang dared to rush into a diamond-level secret realm. Even the director Si Kong Cheng wouldn't dare to easily step in there. For me, she really has been very dedicated. Seeing him about to open the door, Butler Liu quickly stopped him, his voice serious. Furthermore, our master has a message for you. He spoke in a tone as if conveying a command from a king. The master says the Bai family has treated you with utmost sincerity. By taking this void beast, we will have no further relations. He conveyed a warning on behalf of the family head, hoping you wouldn't disturb our young lady anymore. Lam Han was slightly surprised, but quickly regained his composure, his voice as cold as the winter wind. Uncle Liu, I understand your good intentions, but I have no relations with the Bai family. When the Lam family faced difficulties in the past, I did not rely on the Bai family, nor will I now. He turned to leave, but Butler Liu spoke up, his tone resolute. Take this void beast back. Lam Han didn't even look back, responding sharply. Tell the head of the Bai family that whether it is help regarding beasts or any assistance from the Bai family, I, Lam Han, do not need it. Butler Liu stood behind, smirking, displeased with his firm attitude. His warning tone indeed had a spirit, but things the Bai family does not want to give, no one can take. And things the Bai family wants to give away, no one can refuse. He secretly threw a palm strike forward as if to test Lam Han. If he wanted to refuse, he must also know his own strength. Sensing the enemy behind him, Lam Han turned back slowly, his gaze as cold as a blade filled with momentum. Butler Liu was suddenly motionless, terrified, as if bound by an invisible force. He wondered in shock, what is this? Isn't Lam Han a useless beastmaster? Could it be that everything we knew about him before was wrong? The old man denied the fear, secretly telling himself, no way, I absolutely will not be suppressed by a young kid. Lam Han threw him a card, speaking calmly. That's right, take this. Housekeeper Liu curiously took it, still not understanding what was happening. Lam Han explained and turned away. This is the money Sister Bang lent me. I'm paying back both principal and interest. Please thank her on my behalf for her kindness. He did not forget to leave a warning as a cold farewell. Next time, don't act recklessly against me again. If there's another time, don't blame me for not respecting the relationship between the Lam and Bok families in the past. Housekeeper Liu was stunned by his cold attitude, secretly thinking, is this still the Lam Han from before? How could a useless member of a destroyed family have such spirit? Returning to the old house, Lam Han lay sprawled on the bed, exhausted, his heart heavy as if carrying a stone. The head of the Bok family has no good intentions, but Sister Bang, even though I always kept my distance before, did not want to disturb her. He sank into thought, intending to close his eyes for a nap to shake off the fatigue, but the feeling of being forced made his heart uneasy like a smoldering fire. Forget it, don't think anymore. I need to wake up to complete the promotion task. Just then a spirit appeared perched on his shoulder, blowing softly into his ear as if wanting to whisper something secret. A mystical blue light emanated and she transformed back into human form, a beautiful girl with flowing white hair and bright red eyes. She embraced Lam Han, her voice gentle like a cool breeze. Master has worked hard. The next day at the God's Promotion Hall, a welcoming staff member greeted Lam. Welcome to the God's Promotion Hall. I've helped you choose a room in the system. Just go straight there. Around the atmosphere was like a lively party, people chatting enthusiastically about the main character. An admirer with an excited voice said, have you heard? Nyet Trung just awakened a very strong beast tamer. Another person continued, excited. The beast. Tamer is clearly a useless profession, but he not only quickly leveled up but also defeated a super strong Chao Sheng. Another curious person chimed in. Do you think he will come today to complete the promotion task? Lam Han stood in the corner listening to the rumors, unconsciously shaking his head, thinking to himself like someone pushed into the spotlight, not expecting to become famous in this way. The rumors spread too quickly. It's better to keep it quiet in the future to avoid bringing trouble upon oneself. Lamhan stepped into a room where an emerald crystal floated in the air, radiating a mysterious light, sparkling like stars in the dark night. He reached out to touch it, recalling the receptionist's words, "Just place your hand on the crystal, the promotion task will appear." He was lost in thought, full of confidence, but also a bit anxious. The level 10 promotion task shouldn't be too difficult, right? After a moment, when the system confirmed the registration, the task notification appeared clearly. Task name, Thunder King of the Lost Kingdom. Mission level 5 stars. Mission content: eliminate the Thunder Beast in the ancient ruins, collect at least 7 energy stones. Mission location: the shattered ruins outside. A large screen announces the 5-star mission level, causing a stir like waves crashing on the shore. I never expected that someone would be assigned such a difficult mission. It really is something to look forward to. Another person is astonished. Why did a mission notification suddenly appear like this? It seems someone has activated the 5-star mission already. A different voice trembles, saying that it is the legendary Hell difficulty level. No, without hiring a mercenary group, it can't be done. In the room, Lamhan regrets feeling like standing on a pile of hot coals. What misfortune have I stepped into today? 5-star difficulty, what kind of luck is this? The notice board continues to display that the 5-star mission has been released. The mission name is Thunder Beast of the Forgotten Nation 5-star mission level. The mission content is to eliminate the Thunder Beast in the ancient ruins and collect at least 7 energy stones. The mission location is the shattered ruins. Lamhan breathes a sigh of relief, thinking to himself that at least it only announced the mission content, not revealing my identity. Otherwise, it would definitely bring a lot of trouble. Everyone below, after reading the mission, is confused and discussing who is unlucky enough to activate a 5-star mission like this. Another person curiously asks what profession this person is that they are so skilled. Hearing the commotion of the crowd, Lamhan stretches his face, breaking into a bright smile. The light from the crystal shines on his handsome face like a warrior ready to enter battle. Now that the mission has been accepted, there can be no more delays. At the shattered ruins, an ancient architecture has withstood the winds and rains for 100 years, with soldiers in solemn uniforms patrolling around the encampment like guards protecting an impregnable fortress. In the mercenary gathering area, a burly man with a shiny bald head, only wearing a black tank top, a toothpick in his mouth, has a wrinkled face full of frustration. There isn't even one person coming to do missions this month. I have to drink cold water to fill the gaps between my teeth. Then suddenly he glances to the side. Seeing Lamhan walk by, immediately stands up, his eyes curious like a wolf catching a scent of its prey. Not only him, the distant mercenaries also follow Lamhan's back with interest, discussing excitedly. That kid is dressed quite well. Could he be some young master coming to do missions? Another person whispers, voice full of greed. At this moment, encountering a fat sheep seemingly about to open for business, but a deep voice from behind makes Lamhan flinch. Be careful with your words. What do you mean by that? Fat Sheep is the boss. The bald man proudly puffs his chest, introducing himself. Kid, you're here to take on a mission, right? Do you want to hire our mercenary team? The quality is absolutely guaranteed. Out of respect for you being new, I will give you a 20% discount. Lamhan still had his hands in his jacket pockets, responding in a nonchalant tone, as if he didn't care about the offer. No need. Although Lamhan had firmly declined, the bald man continued to cling on like a leech, his voice filled with calculated persistence. The price is negotiable. This time I will waive the service fee for you. Just consider it as being friends. Lamhan firmly gripped his arm, sounding annoyed like a warrior who was being disturbed. I said no need. He squeezed so hard that the veins on the bald man's arm stood out, his gaze cold like a sharp blade. Keep dragging this out, and you might lose an arm. Saying that, Lamhan swung his hand to push the burly man away gently but powerfully, like tossing a dry leaf. Lamhan frowned, his contemplative gaze fixed on the bald man filled with suspicion. You casually waive service fees for others. Do you think I am a fool who doesn't understand? This type of mercenary squad, if not to swindle money, only has one purpose: to kill and rob. The bald man clutched his pained arm, grinding his teeth in anger, secretly cursing like a beast that was provoked. Damn it, I have to smash him! He waved his knife menacingly, but a voice interrupted. Stop it! A girl with hair as red as flames smiled sinisterly, plunging the knife into the table with such force as if to declare authority. Boss, are we really just going to let that kid be? There's a security team here. It's not appropriate to make a move. The red-haired girl looked up, her mysterious blue eyes enchanting those who looked at her, her voice filled with schemes. No one can do anything to us. No one can do anything to us. We can still safely leave here, wait for him to come out of the safe zone, then we will play with him later. Lam Han stood in front of the ancient architecture, his demeanor calm, like a seasoned explorer. This is the broken relic, completely different in style from the haunting mountain range. The consciousness was in a private space, responding to Lam Han's call immediately as if activated. She tightly hugged his arm, her expression bright like a blooming flower. "Master, I am ready." Lam Han smiled lightly, touching her forehead with his finger, his voice gentle. "Good, today I will let you have a real battle." The system suddenly appeared, causing Lam Han to complain with dissatisfaction. Activated the system mission again. The announcement rang out. "Congratulations, the Master has activated the Lord-level mission. Mission name Thunderbolt Trueheart. Mission content, hunt down the Thunderbolt Messenger. Collect Thunderbolt Trueheart." After reading the information, Lam Han smiled brightly like someone who just found a treasure. 3 million Beast Tamer points, not bad, not bad. This is a good item. A knot's power will skyrocket because of it. He cheerfully raised his phone, calculating, but ahead was the place to complete the class transfer mission where he was still unclear about where the Thunderbolt Messenger was. First, buy some information from Uncle Dien. Lam Han quickly walked, not forgetting to glance at Jacques Nyi. "Anyat, let's go do the class transfer mission first, then we'll come back to earn more Beast Tamer points for you later." From the sand dune, a pack of monsters resembling wolves rushed down like arrows, their eyes gleaming fiercely. Thunder Beast, a pack animal level 15. The mind thought with terrifying power, punching the ground to create a shockwave like an earthquake, causing the Thunder Beasts to fly in all directions like leaves caught in a storm. The remaining beasts charged towards Lam Han, but he calmly advanced a magic scroll enveloped in flames, floating in his hand like a blazing torch. His voice was full of disdain. "Can't even defeat a knot and you want to deal with me?" Lam Han gently snapped his fingers, launching a huge fireball, his voice cheerful. "Then try this." The fireball rushed towards the beasts, and he didn't forget to mock roasted Thunder Beast meat. At this moment, the Thunder Beasts saw the fireball. Their eyes blank like panicked animals thinking they were done for, and turned into BBQ. Then a series of fireballs continued to rush in, incinerating the Thunder Beasts. The lucky survivors in fear turned and fled the system, announcing the successful extermination of the Thunder Beasts. Experience gained failed to collect energy stones. Attention, you have reached the maximum limit of first transition. You need to complete the transition quest to surpass the limit. Before reaching second transition, you cannot continue to gain experience. Lam Han controlled 3 floating magic scrolls in his hand: Fireball Technique, Heavenly Fire Technique, and Fire Flame Missile. His expression was unhappy, muttering, "My quest is not finished yet." He looked at the fleeing Thunder Beasts and joked, "Wanna run? My magic scroll is 0 here." Around him, Lam Han's fireballs flew everywhere, chasing the prey like fiery bullets. He turned and joked, "A knot, hurry up, take them all out." Jiak Nyi responded enthusiastically, "Got it." After the battle, behind Lam Han was a battlefield filled with smoke like a painting of destruction. Jack Ngi stepped onto the head of a defeated beast, observing its reaction while Lam Han eagerly checked his loot. Not bad, gathered enough energy stones in a short time. The magic scrolls are expensive, but truly very useful. The system currently displayed Jack Ngi's stats. Precognitive thought species. Ancient 10 beasts. Level 15 strength, 2000 agility, 1800 spirit, 1700 physique, 2100. One skill, Coalescence Level 2, increases all basic attributes by 50%. Great Strength Level 2 increases strength attribute by 60%. Combined with Critical Strike Level 1, deals damage equal to 100% of personal strength to the target. Lam Han looked at the stats a bit regretful. Not completing the transition means how much experience has been wasted. Luckily, Anat leveled up from level 13 to 15. Today's trip still yielded some rewards. He took his phone out of his pocket, looked at the screen, wondering, "The trading floor must have sent information about the Thunder Envoy by now, right?" The voice on the other end replied, "Little lamb, I found out the location of the Thunder Envoy. Will send it to you right away." The phone screen displayed a blinking red dot marking the location. The person on the other end kindly reminded, "However, the Thunder Envoy is very difficult to deal with. If you haven't reached second transition or below level 15, it's best not to go alone." Lam Han did not respond, just turned his head to call Jacques Nyi, his voice firm. "Anat, let's go. Let's collect the spirit beasts." She nodded happily. her smile radiant like sunlight. The two of them left unaware that behind a rock a red-haired girl was quietly watching, her eyes cold like a hunter stalking its prey. The red-haired girl watched as Lam Han walked away, smirking wickedly. Thinking to herself, a roll of magic could be worth tens of thousands. A roll of... How many has he spent on the way? That kid is definitely a big player. This time he will surely strike it rich. The bald man behind her smirked cunningly. Boss, should we take action now? The red-haired girl stopped him, her voice calm yet full of schemes. Not yet. Let's wait a little longer for that kid to accumulate more energy stones. Moreover, the girl next to him is not easy to deal with either. Let's wait until they exhaust their strength, then we will strike. The bald man smiled flatteringly. Boss, brother Min. Meanwhile, Lam Han and Jack walked arm in arm like close friends heading to the location marked on the map. Before them, a level 17 Thunder Envoy was sleeping soundly, its body emitting sparkling lightning bolts. Lam Han looked at it a bit disappointed, sighed. Is it only level 17? Compared to the Gale Wolf King, it's really lacking. It feels like there's no challenge at all. He squatted down, pointing excitedly. Let's go take it down and head home. Then Jack thought with equal excitement, his eyes sparkling like a child receiving a gift. She charged straight at the Thunder Envoy. Hearing the noise, it woke up, turned its head to look around, but before it could assess the situation, Jack threw a powerful punch to its neck, causing blood to spray out like a fountain. After the blow, she quickly transformed, shrinking back into her beast form, an ant with blue skin and bright red eyes. She burrowed into this golden sand as fast as lightning. The Thunder Envoy was still spinning around, searching for the unexpected attacker, when it saw a mound of dirt rise just under its belly. Jack transformed back into human form, emerged from the ground, and delivered a straight punch to its stomach, as powerful as a collapsing mountain. Lam Han summoned a roll of magic. A giant block of ice appeared above the Thunder Envoy, which was being knocked into the air. He waved his hand, smiled coldly, and the ice spike spell was activated. A giant diamond-shaped block of ice plummeted from the sky, sharp as a spear, impaling the Thunder Envoy into the ground. The defeated monster had no chance to resist, like a warrior struck down before drawing his sword. The system announced the successful defeat of the Thunder Envoy, with experience points awarded. But Jack, sitting on the ground, smiled with his eyes narrowed, looking at Lam Han innocently. Anat, I'm so tired. Lam Han, on the other hand, was not very pleased, focusing on the system notification board, murmuring like a strategist calculating. Mission completed, defeat the Thunder Envoy. Yes, the mission reward of 300 Spirit Beast points has been granted. You furrowed your brow, thinking, this one may not be powerful, but its skin is too thick. It took a long time to die. However, you quickly broke into a satisfied smile like a hunter who just brought down a precious prey. Dealing with the Thunder Envoy and gaining 300 Beast Mastery points, what a bargain today. Points like this would be wasted if not used. First, awaken a skill for a Nat. As promised, Lam Han immediately transferred points to unlock the skill. The system announced investment of 300 Beast Mastery points. Successful awakened one of the primordial 10 fiends, Thien Jiak. Thinking that the innate skill Ironbone has been activated, increasing defense by 20%. Jiak was kneeling on the ground, comfortably receiving the new source of power, as if her body was being cleansed by a divine stream. The skill unlock was complete. She rushed into Lam Han's arms, hugging him tightly, her voice full of excitement. Anat, I feel stronger now, thank you, Master. Lam Han was surprised by her initiative, a bit flustered, and stammered. Hey, be careful, this is a wilderness area. While the two were still being affectionate, suddenly a foot appeared in front of them, followed by a mocking voice. Kid, you're quite something. The red-haired girl, accompanied by a group of tall, muscular mercenaries, stepped forward, exuding a presence like a group of hunters surrounding their prey arms, crossed her tone full of ridicule. But what good is fighting? To go out and battle, you have to rely on firepower and intelligence, too. Lam Han tilted his body to look at the troublesome group that had just appeared, a contemptuous smile spreading on his face. Baldy, didn't you say you would help me for free? You come here to massage your grandpa's legs after hunting monsters. Jack thought from the side, frowning at the group for not choosing the right moment. His eyes were sharp enough to eat the bald guy alive, furious like a beast provoked. He growled, Kid, you dare to refuse our mercenary team, you will pay for that. Listen, hand over all the treasures on you, or don't expect to leave here alive. Lam Han stood up, his voice calm yet challenging. Daring to rob here, aren't you afraid of being discovered and caught by the security team? The red-haired girl laughed confidently, her eyes sly like a fox. Kid, do you know why this shattered ruin has a safe zone and a danger zone? She paused and continued her tone like a lecture. Because the danger zones are all deep within the ruins. The security team maintaining order will never come to patrol. The bald guy standing beside smiled quietly as the leader explained. The red-haired girl continued, her voice full of arrogance. If you die here, even if the security team discovers it, they will determine it was caused by wild beasts. If you must blame someone, blame yourself for provoking the wrong person. She licked her lips with a cunning and cruel gaze like a hunter looking at its prey. Don't worry, I will treat you well. The mercenaries chimed in with greedy voices. Boss, can we have that girl then? She happily agreed, but right after that she froze and shouted, But where did she go? Jacques had disappeared beside Lam Han, and one of the men yelled a warning. Not good, be careful. But the red-haired girl did not expect that Jacques had crawled up from underground, standing right behind her. Her eyes narrowed with anger. She grabbed the wrists of the two nearest men, smiled happily, and spun them like puppets using their own bodies to knock down the nearby soldiers. The red-haired girl panicked and shouted, Who is this girl? How terrifying, Mom, save me. Just as she finished speaking, Jack and Guy let go, throwing her away like a sack of rice. The mercenaries reacted simultaneously, firing at Jacques, shouting, This girl is no ordinary one, quickly take her down. But Jacques activated a new skill, Iron Bones, increasing defense by 20%. An invisible shield enveloped her body, causing bullets to bounce off like rain hitting glass. She calmly turned her head to look at the soldiers with a disdainful expression, as if looking at a weak colony of ants. The red-haired girl had just landed, gritting her teeth to command, That girl is too strong. We were careless, retreat. But a shadow suddenly appeared above her. The red-haired girl lay flat on the ground, shocked as she looked up, encountering the cold face of Lam Han like a demon from hell. In his hand, a magic scroll crackled lightning like a storm, ready to strike down. He smiled, his voice friendly but full of threat. Want to run? It's too late. Several bolts of lightning from the sky struck down, hitting the mercenaries, the oasis flashing with a green light. A scream rang out, Ah! The soldiers struck by lightning were charred unconscious, lying scattered on the ground. Only the red-haired girl and the bald man helped each other stand up, their faces tense with worry. The red-haired girl trembled, her voice panicked. Monster! She's a monster! Why does this kid keep using those magic scrolls? The red-haired girl glared angrily at the bald man, lowering her voice, her gaze sharp as a knife. She seems to only listen to this kid. I saw him casting spells all the way. He must have used up all his magic scrolls. Capture her! We still have a chance to turn the tide? The bald man seemed enlightened, raising his fist, smiling confidently like a warrior who just found the enemy's weakness. That's right, damn it! No more magic scrolls, this kid is just a weak chicken. I was about to risk it with him, but before we could finish our strategy, Lam Han stepped right in front of them, looking relaxed like a king before a defeated foe, still intending to counterattack in desperation. He summoned 4 different types of magic scrolls at once, controlling them to float in the air like brilliant stars in the night sky. He smiled, his tone mocking. You have some spirit, but a weak chicken like me is all about currency power, red hair, and bald head. Looking at the trembling stack of magic scrolls like they were kneeling on the ground, the panic in their eyes looked up at Lam Han's towering figure like a mountain. He played the role of a robber, his voice calm but threatening. Hand over all equipment, energy stones, and skill books you have. Doing so, I might consider sparing you a path to survival. Lam Han smiled wickedly, his eyes glinting like a demon. Otherwise, I will show you what it feels like when all fears come from insufficient firepower. Hearing this, the red-haired girl was so furious that she wanted to spit blood, thinking to herself who the real robber was. Now the scene shifts to before a magnificent hall, a divine transfer place where a beautiful girl is resting her chin on her hand, her tone cheerful like a storyteller. The person who activated the 5-star mission this morning seems to be named Lam Han, right? He is quite handsome, but unfortunately his luck is not good. A mission as difficult as this, it cannot be completed in less than 10 days to half a month. Just as she finished speaking, a voice saying, Hello, startled her, her eyes wide with astonishment. Lam Han had been standing at the registration desk for who knows how long, smiling calmly. I just completed the job transfer mission and came back to submit it. The girl was astonished, stuttering as if she had just witnessed something unbelievable. So fast. She was sweating profusely, panicking as she asked, Is the mission really completed? Then she told herself, her voice trembling, No way, I must have misheard. A 5-star mission is not something easily achieved. How could it be completed so quickly? She awkwardly bent down to sift through the paperwork, her voice hesitating. Mr. Lamb. She wanted to ask about the information regarding the job transfer mission, right? Please wait a moment. But Lam Han assured her, his voice calm. No, I really completed the mission. The girl stood frozen, as if struck by lightning on a clear day, her mind filled with question marks. Then suddenly she screamed, her voice echoing throughout the divine hall. What job transfer? You completed the mission. Lam Han was not too surprised by her reaction, just shrugged his tone as casual as discussing a trivial matter. That's right, quite easy. Sweat poured down the face of the staff member, who quickly said, Please wait a moment, I'll help you book a room right away. She read the information, her voice trembling. Now room 996 is available. The operation was similar to when receiving a mission. Lam Han nodded, waved to her, his tone friendly. All right, thank you. He turned and walked towards room 996 while the staff member remained engulfed in doubt, thinking to herself, Just a few hours and he has really completed the mission, is he not boasting? As soon as her thoughts finished, an announcement rang throughout the divine hall. Congratulations, you have successfully completed the job transfer mission and reached the second transfer. The staff member was startled, her mouth agape, turning to her colleague, her voice trembling. Is it real? The crowd in the waiting hall of the divine job transfer listened to the announcement, discussing in amazement like waves crashing on the shore. How could someone capable of completing a 5-star mission appear here? The announcement board displayed the second transfer profession of Beast Tamed Scholar. Lam Han reached out to touch the screen, a faint energy winding around his hand like a stream of light. The second profession appeared, Beast Tamed. His entire body was enveloped in the brilliant light of the new energy, like a warrior blessed by the gods. In the moment of job transfer, Lam Han felt the change in his body, his excitement like a blazing fire. Is this the second transfer profession? B. The feeling is quite good. The display shows information. Name Lam Han, profession. Beast Master Scholar. Second transition. Hidden profession, level 10. Strength, 1,000. Agility, 900. Spirit, 800. Physique, 730. A level 1 creature contract skill, Beast Mastery Space, level 1,000. Recovery, Beast Mastery, level 1. A series of explanatory notifications appear. Second transition. Successful unlock job-specific innate skill. Thunder Wings can fly for 10 minutes, cooldown time 1 hour. Skill of copying. Copy the skills of beasts, usable for 5 minutes. Cooldown time 2 hours. Bloodline anti-clan. Activate the beast's anti-clan bloodline. The system continues. The host has completed the second transition, activating second transition rewards. The host can choose one of the following skills. A. Fuse with the beast. B. Explode. Basic power, multiple times. C. Spiritual sensing. Communicate with wild beasts. Increase favorability. Enhance contract signing rate. D. Vivid malice. Detect malice. Creatures within a certain range, no cooldown time. Lam Han excitedly looks at the information, his eyes shining like a child receiving a favorite toy. This is the new skill after the job change, right? Thunder Wings skill of copying. He glanced a lively smile. Let me test the power of this new skill. A brilliant golden light appears behind him. Thunder Wings sprout, shimmering as if forged from lightning. He swoops up, flying high into the sky, excitedly shouting, Wow! Can I fly? Lam Han delightedly uses the new skill, rereading the system information. Flight skill is a high-level skill, can only be learned through high-level skill books. I didn't expect to unlock it right after transitioning. Lam Han smiles with squinted eyes, excited like a child who has just discovered a treasure. Beastmasters truly deserve to be a hidden profession. He thinks of the copying skill, his eyes shining, so I can copy and use all the skills of the beasts, right? He envisions the scene of fighting alongside, perfectly replicating the actions of the beasts, even if just for 5 minutes. If used at the right moment and point, it could decide the outcome of the battle. Not bad. He slowly lands on the ground, retracting the thunder wings, the light sparkling like vanishing lightning. His eyes are fixed on the system screen, full of anticipation. Next is the other level-up reward. Evaluating their utility like a seasoned strategist, the fusion feels quite cool. Spiritual sensing also helps improve in battle. But if talking about the most useful skill, he mutters, a fusion can fuse with the beasts, explode basic power multiple times. B. Spiritual sensing communicates with wild beasts, increases favorability, enhances contract signing rate. C. Vivid malevolence detects malevolent beings within a certain range, No cooldown time. He nodded. This skill was no different from an automatic alarm device. He bowed his head, reached out to touch the screen, thinking to himself, if only he had this skill earlier, the mercenaries would have been wiped out immediately to prevent them from showing off. The system asked if he wanted to select the Vivid Malevolence skill. Yes, Lin Han didn't hesitate, decisively choosing this skill. All right, the Vivid Malevolence has been selected. Lin Han sighed in relief, stretching comfortably as if a weight had been lifted. He activated his body, his eyes scanning the system's new notification. Surprised, is there a new mission already? But that's normal. After the second transformation, I should also find a second beast to contract, conveniently testing the effect of the bloodline counter. The system displayed a notification. The host has leveled up to the third transformation of the Beast Master Scholar, activating the mission to capture a beast and link it. Mission reward, 500 beast points. Lin Han rested his chin on his hand, pondering like a strategist. Fighting alone is indeed strong, but the effectiveness is somewhat below expectations. The lightning attack in this regard is quite stable. If I have a lightning-type beast, it will definitely compensate for that weakness. His eyes sparkled with determination like a warrior ready to conquer. It seems it's time to pay Uncle Tien a visit. He shoved his hands into his pockets, happily leaving the transfer shrine, excited about just collecting spoils and preparing to buy more information. Transitioning to the trading floor in the VIP room, a man wearing glasses gasped in astonishment as if seeing a treasure. Zhao Xiaolin, what treasure did you just unearth? Lam Han stood beside a towering mountain of sparkling jewels, beaming with a bright smile. Ha ha ha! I just met a group of kind people who gifted me quite a few treasures. I plan to sell all these items. Please help me inventory them, Uncle Dien. After hearing this, Uncle Dien couldn't close his mouth, his face beaming as he turned to the door and shouted, "What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and come inventory the items and calculate the price." Two female employees dressed in daring cheongsams immediately obeyed, rushing in unison. Yes! Lam Han watched the two girls, one in red and one in blue, start working, thinking to himself, Loi Min has dropped quite a few treasures, but it still can't compare to the stockpile of that group of mercenaries. Luckily, they rushed out looking for death, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to earn this amount. Uncle Dien approached excitedly, saying, Little lamb, the items you brought back are worth a total of 13,000 Tian long currency. I will immediately transfer this amount to your card. Lam Han displayed a handsome smile, holding out a green card. Thank you, Uncle. Also, I want to find a Thunder Beast. Does Uncle Dien have any suggestions? Uncle Dien took the card, holding it with both hands, pondering for a moment before suddenly snapping his fingers, eyes shining brightly. Thunder type, huh? That's right, I'm excited to introduce. I heard that just a few days ago in Wuzhou City in the Thunder Forest, a high-quality Thunderbird appeared. He recounted, his voice full of excitement. That Thunderbird might carry ancient bloodline. Many people wanted to catch it, but returned empty-handed. The image of the Thunderbird in his story vividly appeared majestic, perched on a steep rock, spreading its wide wings that shimmered like lightning. Lam Han was thrilled after hearing this, grabbing Uncle Dien. The Thunderbird with ancient bloodline perfectly matches my requirements. Does Uncle Dien have any more information? Uncle Dien happily replied, There's no more information, but our trading floor just acquired a feather from the Thunderbird. He signaled for the female employee in the red cheongsam to carefully bring out a wooden box. He continued explaining, This feather will glow when you're within 10 meters of the Thunderbird. The wooden box opened, revealing a feather that seemed to be enveloped by high voltage, sparkling like lightning. Lam Han looked into the bright eyes, reaching out to touch the item he needed. But before he could, Uncle Dien slammed the box shut, his tone full of business-like seriousness. Little lamb, when opening a business, there must be buyers and sellers, right? He adjusted his glasses. A cunning smile was clearly visible. If you're sure you want this feather, I'll sell it to you at a friendly price of 1,000. Lam Han jolted, sweat pouring down, forcing a crooked smile, thinking, for just a tattered feather asking for 1,000. With that amount of money, I could buy 10 rolls instead. Why not just go rob it? But you know, this is the only clue to find Loi Diu. So he forced a smile. 1,000 is fine. I will buy it. Uncle Dien heard him confirm the order, his smile stretching from ear to ear, handing the box to him. Thank you, esteemed customer. Lam Han was sweating profusely, looking at the not-so-luxurious wooden box, motivating himself. As long as this feather helps me enhance my chances of finding Loi Diu, then 1,000 is worth it. Her eyes glowed with anger. She threw a punch at Lam Han's shoulder to vent her frustration, her tone sulky like a girl being neglected. You wicked master! A knot is not enough! You want to find more magical beasts! Lum Han laughed loudly, quickly, blocking her punch, his voice soft as if coaxing, "All right, don't be angry." The two were playfully teasing each other when a loud cry rang out, "Help!" causing both to suddenly stop and listen with caution. From the forest, a girl with pink hair rushed out, her face panicked, drenched in sweat, running and shouting, "Help!" Behind her, a fierce, leopard-like magical beast was chasing after her, its eyes flashing with brutal light. The system displayed Lloyd Bao level 19. The pink-haired girl, tears welling up, turned to look back at Long, filled with despair. "No, if this continues, I will be caught." The system continued to show personal information. To Niem V level 10 Pursuit Master. Distracted by the Lloyd Bao. Niem V didn't notice a root sticking up from the ground, tripped over it, and fell crying out, "Ah!" In her heart, she thought like someone facing fate. "Damn it, this time I'm done for." She fell face down, and the Lloyd Bao seized the opportunity to pounce mouth-open claws sharp. Niem Vi closed her eyes, gritting her teeth to accept her fate. "This time, I'm definitely dead." But after a few seconds passed, she didn't feel any pain. She slowly opened her eyes, confused. "Huh, am I still alive? What was that sound?" Turning her head, she saw Lum Han charging out like a hero, rescuing a damsel using his skill of enlightenment, delivering a furious strike that hit the Lloyd Bao, causing it to spit blood and stumble back a few steps. Amazed, she stuttered, "What happened?" Lum Han finished off the beast, looking down at Niem V, still lying face down on the ground, his voice concerned. "Are you okay?" She quickly replied shyly, "I'm fine." In her heart, she secretly evaluated the curious gaze of the person who just saved her, the one who sent the Lloyd Bao flying with a punch. Who on earth was this person? Despite thinking that Niem V was still worried, urging, "The Lloyd Bao is not easy to deal with. We should take this opportunity to run." Lum Han smiled confident like an undefeated warrior. "Are you talking about that big cat? Look at that leopard being pushed back. You have to use sharp claws to tear up the grass to hold back the force. Stay calm. Don't worry, someone will handle it." At that moment, Jack thought of transforming into a giant ant charging into battle with the thunder leopard like an ancient beast. He delivered a strong bite to the left shoulder of the beast, causing it to writhe in pain and struggle. Both sides fought fiercely, dust swirling like an ancient battlefield. Lum Han stood watching, thinking with surprise. He never expected that when Anat used the Iron Bone skill in the Celestial Insight form, it could enlarge like this. In this state, Anat looked like a real beast. Niem V sat down on the grass, astonished, her voice trembling. "Is there another beast?" While she was still in shock, a gentlemanly hand appeared in front of Lum Han, elegantly asking, "Are you hurt? Can you stand up?" Niem V's cheeks suddenly flushed. She held his wrist. Thinking that this ant could contain the thunder leopard, it must be at least a level 20 beast or higher. She didn't hesitate to pull Lum Han to run, her voice panicking. "Hurry up while it hasn't noticed us. Let's run." But they hadn't run far when the body of the thunder leopard suddenly flew in to block their escape, causing Niem Vi to scream in panic. Jack thought in his giant form, angrily stepping on the leopard's body, mumbling like a warrior seeking revenge. "Dare to kidnap the master?" Niem Vi watched this scene in fear, her voice trembling. "Not good, we're done for." But Lum Han calmly stepped up, smiling gently, patting Jack's head. "Anat did very well. We will reward you when we get home." The act of praise made Jack blush with embarrassment, like a girl being complimented, while Niem V was left dumbfounded, not understanding what was happening. She asked in astonishment, her voice full of doubt, "What is going on here?" Jack shrank back, returning to the form of a tiny ant jumping onto Lum Han's shoulder. He slowly introduced himself, his tone friendly. "Let me introduce myself. My name is Lum Han, a beast. Tamer. This is my tamed beast. You don't need to be afraid." Niem V gradually calmed down, breaking into a bright smile. "I remember now, according to the legend in the neighboring city." There was someone who awakened the hidden beast Tamer profession. It turns out it was you, Lum Han. Humble and smiling lightly, he said it was just a rumor, not to the level of a legend. Niem Vi placed her hands on her hips, leaning down to look at the tiny ant on his shoulder, curiously asking, "Aren't beast tamers supposed to rely on ferocious beasts? How are you so strong even using your hands? What kind of ant is that? How could it bite the thunder leopard to death?" Her chest inadvertently attacked near the inside, causing her to become angry and not say anything. Jack Nia jumped up to throw a headbutt, then quickly adjusted the angle back to Lum Han's shoulder. Lum Han hurriedly raised a hand to stop him, soothingly saying, "All right, Anat, don't be angry anymore. Jacnia was still sulking, puffing smoke, and glaring at Namvi with a warning look not to get close to the master. Nyamvi was hit until she was fuming, tears in her eyes, standing there holding her head. Lamhan returned to the main topic, looking at her seriously. Looking at your strength, you don't seem very strong. Why dare to come to such a dangerous place? I am Ta Nam Vi. She fixed her light pink hair, frowned her tone, lamenting like someone who has just weathered a storm. I came here to complete a secondary mission, but my luck is poor and I got a 4-star mission. As for you, what are you doing here? Lam. Han stroked his chin, his eyes sparkling like an explorer. I heard there's a Thunderbird in the Thunder Forest. My target is it. Upon hearing this, Nam Vi immediately became cheerful, pounding her chest confidently like a sworn warrior. You want to find a fierce beast, right? Just so happens my profession is Pursuit Master. Thank you for saving me earlier. I will help you consider it a repayment. Lam Han silently assessed her like a strategist contemplating. The Pursuit Master profession has weak combat abilities, but tracking is extremely powerful. It could indeed help me. He smiled and extended his hand. Then I'll rely on you for my mission. The mission quickly shook his hand. Her voice excited. No problem, just leave it to me. She honestly shared her tone, a bit shy. However, my abilities are limited. If I have an item from the Thunderbird, I can determine its direction more easily. Lam Han immediately took a feather from the wooden box, raising it. I have a feather here. Can you use it? Nam. V saw it. Her eyes wide open, astonished, as if she had just discovered treasure. Thunderbird feather. I remember this was priced unrealistically high in the black market. She took the feather, examining it meticulously, her tone professional. This feather is very well preserved. There are absolutely no issues in determining the direction of the Thunderbird. However, if I use my skills, the feather may be damaged. If you want to sell, I can exchange it for money. Lam Han laughed heartily, his tone carefree like a tycoon. Don't worry. This item is just junk to me. If it gets damaged, it's still mine. Hearing this, Nam Vi became more confident, nodding. Then it's settled. She began using the pursuit item skill, her eyes shimmering with light, the technique like a wizard casting a spell. The feather emitted a spiritual light, extending into a beam that ran straight in one direction. Nyamvi happily exclaimed, Found it, just follow this beam of light, we will find the Thunderbird. Lam Han clenched his fist in celebration, sounding excited. Great! Let's hurry and set off. The two slowly ventured deeper into the dense forest, the air filled with the smell of ozone from the lightning strikes. Suddenly, Lam Han raised his hand to stop Nam Vi, his voice cautious. Wait, there are fierce beasts ahead, and there are quite a few of them. Nam Vi was puzzled upon hearing this, her voice trembling. What is it? What should we do? Should we take a detour? Jack thought, in the form of a small ant on Lam Han's shoulder, watching his master collide physically with Nam Vi, his eyes glowing red with dissatisfaction like a jealous little girl. Lam Han quickly issued orders, his voice firm. No need on that. Jack thought to act immediately, transforming into a giant form, charging into the group of fierce beasts. The system announced, successfully killed the Thunder Beast, received 650 experience points. Lam Han looked at the notification, smiled brightly, feeling joyful as if receiving a reward was the spirit that high. He stood observing the corpse fighting passionately like a little warrior dominating the battlefield. He thought to himself, no wonder Anat could easily suppress everything, but why today does it feel like Anat is extremely angry? Jack waved his hand at him excitedly, saying, Anat has finished, the master will surely be very happy. Nianvi stood behind, astonished, her voice trembling. Did all these beasts get killed by that little ant? Lam Han nodded calmly, stating, I told you these little monsters can be dealt with easily. Inside, he felt happy. The system notified, you leveled up to level 11, comprehensive attributes increased by 160 points, received an additional 120 free attribute points to allocate. He thought to himself, like a warrior who just broke through, this feeling is truly not bad. The ant thought back immediately, pushing Nianvi away, a warning look in its eyes. Lam Han saw and smiled indulgently. Anat, you're being naughty again. You should turn back. The spirit muttered sulky, yes, master. Niamvi stood by her face, bewildered, not understanding what was happening, thinking to herself, what's going on? Could it be that a fierce beast came to ambush? In her mind, an image of a giant ant happily chatting with Lam Han appeared, making her sigh. So it turns out the little ant scared me. I was so scared to death. Lam Han smiled, signaling Anyat to revert back to its original form. This way it will be easier to act. Niamv looked at the little ant, feeling something was off, thinking, why do I feel like this ant is targeting me? Could it be an illusion? How could such a tiny ant look at me angrily? In the heart of the ant, jealousy surged. Dare to use your charm to seduce the master. Let's see if I can bite you to death. Come here. I promise I won't kill you. But the ant's cute appearance made Nianvi dismiss all suspicions, her heart-shaped eyes rushing towards it. It must be an illusion. How could such a cute little ant have bad intentions? She reached out to touch the ant, smiling. Little ant, let me pet you a bit. Lam Han, the ant, panicked, dodging silently, calling for help. This woman is really annoying. I really want to hit her, but I'm afraid she can't take it. Master, quickly stop her. Saving Anat, Lam Han realized her thoughts quickly pulled Nianvi back, awkwardly smiling. All right, if you keep petting Anat, we'll get angry. He signaled to the ant in front about how many fierce beasts were left. Anyat, you go ahead and clear the way for us. In the quiet night, the system's notifications rang out continuously like a victory song. Successfully killed, the Thunder Armor Worm gained 9,841 experience points. Successfully killed the Electric Striped Bee, gained 12,841 experience points. Successfully killed Kung Chu Loidian, experience points plus 12,841. The system continued. You leveled up to level 12, overall attributes increased, received an additional 120 free attribute points. You leveled up to level 13, overall attributes increased, received an additional 120 free attribute points. You leveled up to level 14, overall attributes increased, received an additional 120 free attribute points. You leveled up to level 15, overall attributes increased, received an additional 140 free attribute points. Lam Han couldn't contain himself, rejoicing like a warrior. This leveling up feeling is truly exhilarating. In front of Lam Han, a detailed information panel appeared clearly like a mirror reflecting his power. Name Lam Han. Profession Beast. Tamer Scholar. Second job. Hidden level. Level 15. Strength. 1, 820. Agility. 1, 720. Spirit. 1, 620. Physique. 550. No equipment. Skill. Contract of life. Level 1. Beast. Space. Level 1. 1,000. Recovery. Beast. Level 1. Vivid Malice. Level 1. Thunder Wings. Level 1. Skill Copying. Level 1. He looked at the attributes panel, his eyes sparkling with astonishment, like an explorer who just discovered a new treasure. It hasn't been long, and I've already reached level 15, it seems. Soon I will have to undertake the third job quest. Jack thought the little ant on his shoulder was now tired, dozing off in sleep like a tiny warrior needing rest after battle. The system displayed Heavenly Insight Race 10. Ancient Beast level, level 18 Strength, 2, 700 Agility, 2, 300 Spirit, 2, 200 Physique, 3,000. Lam Han looked at Anyat, feeling emotional. Anyat, it's been tough on the road, too. The mission ahead quickly replied, teasingly. Not only has it been tough, but nearly the entire Thunder Forest is about to be destroyed by the two of you. All around, the bodies of the monsters have been dealt with by Jacques Nhi. Like a battlefield just cleared, Niamv stood in front, joyfully exclaiming, her eyes shining brightly. But we don't need to avoid the ferocious beasts. We can rely on our fastest speed to find the Thunderbird. I can sense it over there, but before I could leave, a sharp cry from Jacques Nhi rang in Lam Han's ears, making him stop, look up at the sky, his heart full of vigilance. Oh, Anyat, is there a problem ahead? He pondered like a strategist analyzing. After all, it is an ancient beast. Could there be something ahead that even she must be wary of? Suddenly, a bird with smooth green feathers, looking beautiful as if gifted by Jadit, appeared before Lam Han. Rejoice! His voice excited, like a hunter seeing precious prey. It's a level 13 Thunderbird. If we can sign the contract, it would be a great deal today. The Thunderbird, resting above upon hearing the commotion, immediately opened its eyes, sharp gaze like a warrior spotting an enemy. It hurriedly flapped its wings to escape. Niamv felt frustrated, her voice regretful. Oh no, it's running away. The tracking master can't fly. There's no way to catch it. I didn't expect it to be so difficult and still miss the Thunderbird like this. Lam Han has maintained a confident smile from start to finish, like someone who is sure of victory. Who said I can't fly? He activates the thunder wings. A pair of brilliant golden wings sprouts from his back, sparkling like lightning tearing through the sky. Before the astonished gaze of Niamvi, he soars up like a golden arrow rushing towards Cao Chung. The Thunderbird didn't expect the opponent could fly, panicking and flapping its wings harder. Jack watches from Lam Han's shoulder as the Thunderbird is struck by lightning in the sky, his eyes glowing red with excitement. Lam Han shouts loudly, his voice full of scheming, his cunning smile like a businessman tempting, "Hey, Thunderbird, consider being my beast of burden. All food and lodging included." The Thunderbird, taken aback by the temptation, quickly puts more strength into its wings to fly higher, leaving him behind. Lam Han remains undeterred, spreading his wings wide, closely pursuing. With a bewildered but excited gaze, he thinks this fierce beast has quite a personality. Then let's play with it for a bit. He turns back to call out to Niamvi. "Niamvi, wait here." The girl stands helplessly on the ground, watching him respond casually. "I'll wait here for you." Lam Han approaches the Thunderbird more closely, causing it to panic and flap its wings in the sky. He shouts loudly, his voice full of confidence. "Hey, don't you really want to be my beast of burden? Follow me. You won't suffer any losses." Lam Han quickly reaches out to grab the Thunderbird, but only manages to grasp a few feathers. The bird spread its wings and soared high into the sky, leaving you far behind like an arrow released from a bow. You were angry, your voice irritated like a hunter who missed his prey. "Really annoying. Let it get away again." Suddenly, Loidu turned back and unleashed massive bolts of lightning striking in all directions, fierce like a thunderstorm aimed straight at Lam Han. You didn't have time to defend, but quickly raised your powerful fist, breaking into a slight smile, your eyes sharp like a warrior facing an enemy. Knowing that escape was impossible, decided to take the risk. Wow, that's some commendable courage. Aiming straight at Thunderbird, he charged forward, shouting loudly, his momentum like a mountain about to collapse. "I will defeat you!" His fist swung out, the force growing stronger like a tornado hitting Thunderbird and making it dizzy, staggering in the air. Lam Han shouted loudly, "The skill of the most violent restoration strike!" He tightened his grip on Thunderbird's neck, a contract mark appearing in his hand, shining like a star. He breathed a sigh of relief, smiling with satisfaction. Finally, the contract is signed. The system displayed information. Thunderbird branch race of the thunderous bird, level 13, strength, 523 agility, 768, spirit, 622 physique, 502. Lam Han pondered, his voice slightly disappointed. A level 13 Thunderbird with such low attributes really pales in comparison to the heavenly eye. The system continued. Contract successful. Do you want to proceed with the transformation of the contracted target? "Yes," he exclaimed, his eyes shining brightly as if he had just remembered a treasure. "I almost forgot, with the system here getting stronger is as easy as flipping your hand." He chose to transform. Thunderbird gradually changed from a bird form into a beautiful girl, exhausted from the energy loss, falling like a flower worn out after a storm. The system announced, "Transformation of Thunderbird successful. Entered the second form of Thunder Emperor, ancient race of 10 bows, level 18 strength, 900 agility, 3000 spirit, 400 physique, 600 skill, Thunderstorm level 1 within a 1 kilometer range. Chaotic lightning strikes haste, level 1 increases agility by 40%. Lam Han observed from afar, secretly thinking with admiration, no wonder it's a lightning beast, a single leap of 5 levels. Moreover, the skill Thunderstorm truly is a weapon of mass destruction. The girl's delicate white feet touched the ground, her beautiful, innocent face looking up. Her captivating eyes like precious jewels, she gently bowed her head to greet her master Lam Han. His eyes were fixed on her high-damage weapon, breaking into a fierce smile. Very good indeed, a fierce beast truly lives up to the name, even fiercer than anyone else. Jack thought, standing on his shoulder, watching the furious scene, gripping his shirt tightly. His eyes burning like flames of rage, glaring at Thunderbird with hostility. She stepped closer, eyes meeting eyes, the atmosphere confrontational, like two warriors ready to fight. Jack spoke up, his voice full of provocation. "What foul bird dares to steal my master?" "Thunderbird," she replied with a disdainful expression like a queen. "A little ant dares to claim my master. Just one bite and I could swallow you whole." Lam Han hurried over, raising his hand to mediate, speaking soothingly like an older brother. All right, from now on we are one family, don't be angry anymore." "Oh yes, you are the first to transform, I have to give way to her." Hearing this, Thunderbird happily looked at him, her voice gentle. Can my master give me a name? Lam Han raised his hand to his chin, pondering, you are a Thunderbird. I once heard a poem, Vietnamese like a chicken's old song, Tai Shui Chi's beginning, yin and yang, intertwining, feeling the thunder's roar, Vietnamese heaven and earth's old song. He smiled and declared, then let's name you Heavenly Grain Thunderbird. Now she is Heavenly Grain. Gently accepting the name, her eyes sparkling like lightning. Heavenly Grain, I really like this name. Tianke, thank you, master. Lam Han looked at her, thinking to himself with full anticipation. The gentle and charming girl possesses such wild storm skills. How wonderful it would be to test her strength just once. Like a bold idea just emerging, he fell into deep thought. His eyes brightened. It was the perfect time for Tianke to showcase her full power. Nianvi was still quietly sitting in a corner, wearing a sad expression, waiting for Lam Han to return in the sparse residential area of the Man tribe. When she saw him appear, she immediately brightened up, her voice filled with excitement. Lam Han, do you really want to help me complete the 4-star mission? But my target is to hunt the leader here. The difficulty is too high, should we just forget it? Lam Han turned back, smiled confidently, his voice hearty. You help me find the Thunderbird, and I'll help you complete the secondary mission. That's only fair. Moreover, I want to take this opportunity to test the power of the Thunderbird. He pointed towards Tianke, the girl radiating sparkling lightning around him, commanding assertively, Go, Tianke! Show me just how strong you really are. Tianke soared into the sky, her momentum powerful, unleashing lightning like a torrential rain. While flying, she transformed back into human form, piercing through the white mist, shouting loudly, Thunder! Hitty! She unleashed bolts of lightning, striking forcefully down to the ground, creating a massive whirlwind full of thunder and lightning. In the camp, some of the Man tribe looked up, their expressions a mix of contemplation and anger. System display Man level 7, Manji level 8, Manji leader level 9. The mission was anxious behind Lam Han, full of worry. Lam Han sighed softly, thinking to himself, the monsters here are too low level. With one strike of Tianke's thunderstorm, I'll probably have to kneel and beg them not to die. He spoke calmly. Tianke, just go all out, but don't kill the Man leader. The mission looked up at the sky, filled with doubt. With so much thunder and lightning up there, where's that bird that I can't see clearly? Tianke descended from above, obeying the order, unleashing a powerful bolt of lightning that knocked away all nearby enemies. The leader, terrified, drew his bow and aimed directly at her, shouting loudly, his voice trembling. Tianke rushed forward, gripping his throat tightly, her expression calm as if handling a trivial matter. A bolt of lightning struck the leader directly, causing him to scream in pain, collapsing to the ground. Nianvi and Lam Han hid in the grass. She wondered, her voice worried, has the Thunderbird made a move? With so many enemies, I wonder how long it will take to fight, or should we retreat? Suddenly, a heavy object fell to the ground, startling Nianvi, who screamed in panic. Tianke stood on the charred body of the leader, lying motionless. She exclaimed, her voice astonished, This is the new leader of the Man tribe. Has the Thunderbird caught him here? Lam Han smiled and praised, Well done, Tianke. He took a knife from his bag, handed it to Nianvi, and said firmly, Eliminate him, and your mission will be considered complete. Nianvi trembled, holding the weapon, mumbling hesitantly, I understand. A slash rang out, blood splattering from the body of the leader. I Nimvi killed the leader of the Man people, completing the mission. She was shy, not daring to look straight at Lam Han, her voice soft. Lam Han, thank you. Thanks to you, I was able to complete the mission. She placed her hand on her chest, her eyes bright, her voice excited. My home is in this area. Now that the work is done, do you want me to go with you for a walk in Vucho City? Lam Han turned back while walking a friendly smile. No need to be polite, you helped me find Loi Diu. And in the future, if we have fate, we will meet again. Nimvi smiled softly, her heart thinking, her gaze lingering. Lam Han, I hope there will be a day we can meet again. Lam Han walked ahead with the two girls, Thien Kuk and Jacques Nhi, following behind, looking at him with innocent eyes. He thought to himself, feeling very satisfied. Just in half a day I caught the second fierce beast. I'm really lucky. Next I need to plan the leveling route. Later the phone rang, interrupting his train of thought. Lam Han looked at the screen. The message that appeared made him curious. Longban 2. Longban 2 called me at this time. Could it be something important? Lam Han raised the phone to his ear, speaking cheerfully. Longban 2 is looking for me. What's up? If it's an invitation to a meal, I'll go find you right now. Lum Kyo laughed loudly over the phone, his voice excited. No, what meal? I have something important I want to tell you. He began to describe excitedly about a girl confronting a group of giant monsters. Little Lum too, have you ever heard of Huyen Hukeng? He described the image of a woman standing tall before a group of ferocious monsters charging at her. Huyen Hukeng is a fictitious space established by the Empire's army capable of recreating all battle scenes. The woman confidently defeated a monster without any fear, while this space also created countless different fierce beasts for the awakened to practice. She knelt on one knee looking at the fallen monster and smiling gently. Lum Kyu continued with an enthusiastic tone. Although it cannot increase experience points, it can be used to train skills and techniques in a private room. Lum Han looked at the food on the table, quietly thinking about Lum Kyu's words. Many people compete fiercely for this slot. I told my dad to get a spot for you. Lum Han pondered, assessing the abilities of the two summoned beasts, Thien Kok and Anyat, who possessed outstanding individual strength, but had many shortcomings in team coordination. He thought this was the opportunity to train both in Huyen Hukan. The image of Jok Ngi and Thien Kok hugging each other appeared in his mind with Dung Tan's determined voice. Sister, we must serve the master very well. Sister, we must serve the master very well. Lum Han showed a satisfied expression, thinking that if both coordinated well, his strength would increase dramatically. Lum Kyu continued with a hearty voice. Little Lum Tu, I've sent the address to your phone. If you have time, come there to experience it. Lum Han held the phone, fiddling with it while sincerely replying, I'm bothering you again. Your family has helped me a lot over the years. Lum Kyu laughed loudly. We are like family. Just don't forget your brothers when you become prosperous. He nodded, speaking decisively. Okay. The scene shifts to Lum Han's bedroom, where he is lying on the soft bed, resting. The alarm rang, pulling him from his sleep. The Jiak Ngi in human form lay on top of him, cheerfully saying, Good morning, master. Did you sleep well last night? Lum Han was startled. Panicking, yelled, What the hell is it this stimulating right in the morning? Thien Kok stood beside him, wrapping her arms around his face, pressing him close to her ample chest, softly saying, It's still early. Master, go back to sleep. Lum Han was overwhelmed with a sense of pleasure, shouting, I'm about to suffocate. Is this the sweet siege? Jiak Ngi angrily glared at Thien Kok, her eyes burning as if ready to confront. She scolded in a harsh voice. You filthy bird, doing this will make the master unable to breathe. Thien Kok calmly replied, her voice full of confidence. If it were you, the master would definitely breathe easier. After all, you are so small. The two continued to argue fiercely. Jiak Ngi shouted, What small? The master has already said I am the older sister. Thien Kok replied, her tone equally angry. If you don't understand this, it seems your brain is also small to the point of being ridiculous. Lum Han raised his hand to his face, feeling helpless, thinking silently with great resignation. What a waste for the looks of these two ladies. Everyone is like children. It seems that coordination training must be included in the schedule right away. He arrived at Huyen Hukan, where a staff member warmly welcomed him. Mr. Lam, your identity has been successfully verified. Entering the cryogenic chamber allows you to experience Huyen Hukan. She continued, explaining, her voice professional. You can choose dungeons with different difficulty levels based on your personal rank. Breaking the record of the dungeon will earn rewards. Hearing this, Lum Han thought to himself, filled with hope. After all, it's a reward from the military. Surely they won't be too stingy, right? Sure. The enthusiastic staff member invited him in, her voice cheerful. I hope you have a great experience. The system on the screen displayed user identity verification successful. Name Lum Han. Occupation Beastmaster. Scholar 2nd transition rank, 15 dungeon rank nomination. Bak Ngun. The system continued. You can enter the Bak Ngun dungeon, no other options available. Without hesitation, Lum Han pressed confirm, his voice excited. Tian K, let's go. Thus, two beast companions simultaneously let out loud cries, showing their readiness to accompany their master. The system displayed a notification monotonously, starting countdown. You have successfully selected the Bak Ngan dungeon. Loading dungeon. The bodies of the three were gradually pulled into another dimension. The screen showed the progress 30%, 50%, 80%, 99%, 100%. Dungeon loaded successfully. Wish you a pleasant journey at Huyen Hukan. The arena appeared with a splendid, luxurious scene like a palace built from light and technology. Lam Han's group landed facing a pack of fierce wolves ahead. He stood there, his gaze, cold voice steady. Old friend. Why does Jack think angrily rushing forward with great momentum? You rotten bird! I'll show you who truly deserves to be beside the master. Opposite him, the terrifying wolf. She showed no fear, delivering a blow that knocked it away in an instant. She even teased giving a thumbs down towards Tianke. Tianke heard those words and merely smiled faintly, her voice full of confidence. Is such a trivial matter worth boasting about, little ant? You are indeed quite naive. She raised her hand to create a sparkling ball of light, launching an attack that instantly sent the monsters behind flying, showcasing superior strength. Lam Han witnessed the two girls preparing to argue and hurriedly spoke to stop them, his voice serious. We are all family, we should love and get along with each other, Jack thought, pouting, sounding sulky. Master, I'm sorry, but I would never want to get close to this rotten bird. Tianke also replied, her voice firm. We are different species, I can't possibly love it. Lam Han stood there, helpless in front of the impulsive personalities of the two girls, thinking to himself that these two girls really have too much character. Before he could pay attention, a white wolf appeared above him, looking angry, swatting it away with one hand, growling. Even you want to bully me? The two girls rushed over, their voices filled with concern. Master, are you hurt? Jack Ngi bowed his head, his voice regretful. I'm sorry, Master. It's all because Thien Kok didn't protect you well. Lam Han looked at the worried expressions of both, sighed, and spoke gently. It's all our fault for competing for favor, which affected the safety of the master. Then the system suddenly displayed a notification sounding an alarm. The third wave of beasts is about to arrive. Countless giant wolves appeared around, fierce and intimidating. The system continued, this mechanism will not cause actual harm to the user, but will provide a pain sensation at a 1:1 ratio. If you feel you cannot continue, please abandon the training. Lam Han smiled faintly, filled with confidence. With this level of difficulty, even some rare elite warriors would find it hard to cope, but this suited him very well. The giant wolf charged straight at him, fist-clenched eyes burning with determination. The greatest weakness of a beast master is limited personal combat ability, and the goal of entering the illusionary realm is to overcome that. He threw a powerful punch, knocking the wolf away in an instant. The two girls beside him witnessed this scene, cheering with admiration. The master is so amazing. Lam Han smiled, pleased. Not bad, right? It's worth it for me to invest all my free attribute points into strength. The pack of wolves began to howl, signaling that the real battle was about to begin. Lam Han commanded, his voice firm, and yet activate the frenzy of Thien Kok, activate the speed boost. The two girls, though dissatisfied, still obeyed the order and charged to attack. Jack Ngi muttered, I don't want to fight alongside that stinky bird of yours. But this was the master's command. Thien Kok replied, her voice equally intense. I feel the same way. I absolutely will not hinder the master. Lam Han stood behind, wearing a satisfied smile, thinking, I want to see if these Tat Fong Lang Vung have strength comparable to Anyat, and whether their speed can surpass Thien Kok. The two girls coordinated, one attacking the other, defending, fighting fiercely. Jack thought, shouting with a powerful voice, You guys better just accept your deaths. In the center of the illusionary experience realm, a luxurious and magnificent scene surrounded the crowd. Fang Dong stood there, flirting, boasting about his great sword. As soon as the wind trembled, all the beasts fell. No need to mention his grandeur. Another person, Chen, chimed in. Friend Hua Ding didn't see it. It was really a pity just now. Hua Ding stood in front, hearing those words, looking displeased, her gaze cold. She responded resolutely. I'm sorry, I want to fight alone. Fang Dong seemed even more interested, his eyes sparkling. Is this Kowlan flower really as cold as the rumors say? Let's see how I can pick her. The group quickly realized that the current situation was unusual. Everyone was astonished. One person shouted, This is shocking! What's going on with the stats in this room? Is this speed trying to break the record? The silver level dungeon's final stage, but the experience time is only 8 minutes and 59 seconds. The player is Lam Han. Those around witnessed jaws dropped, eyes filled with astonishment. In 9 minutes, he's already at the final door. Is he really about to break the record? Another person questioned skeptically, Who is this Lam Han? Is he a disciple secretly nurtured by some big family? Nah. Some people recognized the name, their eyes showing surprise. Could it be Lam Han, the beast tamer from our school? But how could a poor guy like Lam Han enter the Phantom Void realm? It must be a name coincidence. However, the silver-level dungeon suddenly announced in a robotic voice, A new record has been set, time 9 minutes and 8 seconds. Record holder Lum Han. The crowd was stunned, unable to believe their ears, exclaiming in unison, 9 minutes and 8 seconds. Did he really break the record? So Lum Han is that strong? In the arena, the three of Lum Han sighed tiredly, but he looked at the announcement board in front of him, a bright smile. Finally, it's over. The system announced monotonously, you have received a reward, poison thorns. When used, poisonous vines will emerge from the ground within a 100 meters radius around the user, binding all targets considered enemies. The vines have a paralyzing toxin skill duration. 5 minutes cooldown time, 20 minutes. Automatically arranged for retrieval. The consciousness welcomes you back next time. Lum Han held the skill book, a satisfied smile. I didn't expect the reward to be a skill book for the Phantom Void realm. That's interesting. Let's try the gold level dungeon next time. He quickly left the area. But outside, a crowd had gathered, noisily discussing. One person exclaimed excitedly, he really broke the record. Moreover, he shortened the time by half compared to the old record. This newcomer is really crazy. Another person chimed in, does anyone know the great Lum Han? Please introduce me. As Lum Han stepped out, seeing the crowd gather around, he panicked and wanted to run away. He thought, why is my name even announced this time? Is this a bit of an invasion of privacy? Hua Ding, standing aside, recognized him and shouted, it's really him. The blonde person behind witnessed this scene, grinding his teeth, eyes blazing with anger. It's that brat again. Stealing my glory. Damn it. At the Ministry of Defense's Phantom Void Realm Control Center, a man noticed an abnormal phenomenon and quickly reported, Sir, there's an unusual data in the Phantom Void Realm. A second transition Beastmaster has broken the silver level instance record. His solo time is truly incredible. Each wave of monsters was eliminated in less than 3 minutes. This speed even some third transition professions cannot achieve. The one called the Commander, with a serious expression, looked straight ahead. Even though this person's beast is very strong to reach that level with second transition, strength is indeed a genius. Must definitely recruit him into the army. He turned his head and decisively ordered, investigate this person thoroughly. By tomorrow morning, I want all of his information. The next day in class, the crowd gathered, chatting excitedly. The atmosphere was lively. The Wind Wolf King faced Lum Han, looking at the mountain of skeletal remains of his kind piled at his feet, frightened to the point of bowing his head immediately. A student exclaimed, full of astonishment, Lum Han is indeed strong. Fong Dung walked in from outside, looking angry, shouting loudly with an arrogant tone, Lum Han, come out. And the classmates immediately teased upon seeing this scene jokingly. Fong Dung, what are you here for? Aren't you afraid of getting your face beaten up by little lamb again? Fong Dung's eyes burned with anger as he replied sharply, stop talking nonsense. Call Lum Han out here. In his mind, the image of Hua Din admiring Lum Han yesterday fueled his anger further. He thought to himself, gritting his teeth, yesterday's record-breaking must have been pure luck. Recently, my family has spent a lot of resources to help me transition to the second level, yet Lum Han dared to steal my glory. Just wait. I will definitely beat you to a pulp. Lam Q waved nearby teasingly. Step aside. Little Lamb has gone to the Phantom Mountain to level up, preparing to break through to the third transition. No, there's no time to deal with you. Fong Dung's two underlings looked surprised upon hearing this. Third transition, Lam Han's training speed is a bit scary now. Could it be that he broke the record yesterday, not by luck? Fong Dung was furious upon hearing this, growling, do you all believe what he says? You must be brainless. Lam Q laughed loudly, continuing to mock. Someone like you has to rely on family just to barely make it to the second transition. How can you understand the feelings of a genius? You should just wait for my little lamb to return from the third transition, and then cling to his leg, shouting, awesome, Fong Dung! Fong Dung got furious, shouting, you fat bastard, just wait for me. He gritted his teeth, filled with resentment. When Lum Han comes back, I'll deal with both of you troublemakers at once. At the Phantom Mountain, the lightning bolts struck down powerfully and frighteningly. Lum Han stood there, calmly watching the monsters being easily defeated in front of him, feeling a sense of joy. Wow. Oh my god. With the experience-gaining speed like these two harvesting machines, isn't the third transition as easy as turning your hand? And the system announced continuously. Successfully defeated, the Fast Wind Wolf received 500 experience points. Successfully defeated, the Thunderbolt Leopard received 1,000 experience points. Successfully defeated, the Thunder Beast received 1,000 experience points. Jack thought and rushed over excitedly, saying, Master, Yi killing so many is not weak, right? Yi worked hard. Tiangu refused to back down, chiming in to compete for favor. Master Tiangu just finished counting. It seems I killed more than your little sister. Tiangu is also very skilled. The two girls started arguing again, their voices filled with intensity. Stupid bird! I have counted many times, it can't be wrong. Tiangu replied, It must be that you reported the little one's count with your head and managed to count it, huh? Lam Han stood in the middle, helplessly sighed, thinking to himself, All right, don't be like that. He looked straight ahead, carefully calculating. Anyat and Thienkok are getting stronger. The monsters in area back combined are still not enough for them to start, let alone strengthen their power. You spoke up your voice decisive. How about we go play in the golden leveling area? This immediately attracted the attention of the two girls, and they quickly moved to the golden leveling area. The group carefully hid behind the bushes to observe the situation. Lam Han noticed a group of poisonous striped lizards in front of him, thinking, I didn't expect to run into this group right away. It's really a tough nut to crack, but just right for training my strength. He ordered, his voice serious. A knot attract firepower from the front. Thienkok activate the rapid attack from above. Rak thought, her eyes brightened, throwing a punch this time. She must kill more. Thienkok hadn't acted yet when a lizard sprayed a large amount of poison. Rak thought, she cried out in pain, her body staggered backward, trembling. Master. Anyat felt very uncomfortable. The poison caused continuous paralysis and blood loss within a minute. Lam Han recognized the urgent situation, quickly ordered, Thienkok, quickly use Thunderstorm to finish it off. Thienkok immediately executed the move, launching a powerful strike from above. Strong columns of lightning descended, carrying destructive power enough to wipe out a whole group of giant monsters. Thunderstorm descended, creating a violent explosion that shook the ground. Lam Han stood there, unable to help, but exclaim, his voice full of admiration. Thienkok's Thunderstorm has too high randomness. It's very hard to hit them accurately. The group of poisonous striped lizards, being small in size, must be restrained in their movements. Suddenly he remembered something. His eyes lit up. That's right. The skill book obtained when breaking the record in the Huyan Hukan. The skill book quickly appeared in his hands. The system displayed Poisonous Thorns, a mid-level quality skill book effective when used within a 100-meter radius around the user. Thorny vines will grow up from the ground, binding all targets identified as enemies. 6 vines with a paralysis effect that lasts for 5 minutes and a cooldown time of 20 minutes. In the unlearned state, Lam Han looked at the book. A bright smile blossomed on his lips, full of confidence. Thienkok's attack is hard to hit small targets like lizards, but using this control skill can increase her accuracy. Beneath Lam Han's feet, magnificent purple magic circles appeared one after another, radiating mysterious light. He activated the skill as soon as the notification appeared. A joyful smile blossomed on his lips. You have learned the Poisonous Thorns skill. He looked straight at the poisonous striped lizards, his voice full of confidence. The days of freedom for you little lizards are over. He slammed his fist down to the ground, supporting the two girls in front, and decisively ordered, Anyat Thienkok, exceed the target and clear the battlefield. The thorny vines immediately surged up tightly, wrapping and restraining all the surrounding monsters. Thienkok heard the command from above, descending numerous powerful columns, her voice echoing, Understood, Master. The system continuously announces, successfully eliminated the poisonous striped lizard experience, +1 789. A successful elimination of the poisonous striped lizard experience, +1 789. Successfully eliminated the poisonous striped lizard experience, +1 789. Giok thinks not to be outdone, charges into battle, voice full of determination. Anyat will also help the master fight the monsters. The system continues to ring out, successfully eliminated the poisonous striped lizard experience, +1 789. A successful elimination of the poisonous striped lizard experience, +1 789. Successfully eliminated the poisonous striped lizard experience, +1 789. Lam Han stands by, observing, eyes filled with satisfaction. Not bad, not bad. Only in a moment has gone up 4 levels. The previous noise had also attracted 2 level 22 saber-toothed tigers. The system displays, you have leveled up to level 16, all attributes increase comprehensively. Receive an additional 140 free attribute points to distribute as you wish. You have leveled up to level 17, all attributes increase comprehensively. Receive an additional 140 free attribute points to distribute as you wish. You have leveled up to level 18, all attributes increase comprehensively. Receive an additional 140 free attribute points to distribute as you wish. You have leveled up to level 19. All attributes increase comprehensively. Receive an additional 140 free attribute points to distribute as you wish. Lumhan looks at the notification board, a bright smile. Anyat and Thien Kuk have reached level 20 already. Once they finish dealing with it, I should also reach level 20. He turns to the two girls, giving a serious command. Anat, Thien Kuk, wrap it up quickly. Both respond, yes, master. They easily take down each opponent without mercy. The system announces, Thien Jack thinks level 20. Lloyd A, level 20, successfully eliminated saber-toothed tiger experience plus 266. A successful elimination of the saber-toothed tiger experience plus 266. The system continues. You have leveled up to level 20. All attributes increase comprehensively. Receive an additional 140 free attribute points. Attention, you have reached the maximum limit that Ni Chuyen can bear. You need to accept a class change mission, otherwise you will not be able to break through the limit. Before completing Tam Chuyen, you cannot continue to gain more experience. Lum Han looks at the notification board, feeling very satisfied. I've reached level 20. Grinding monsters doesn't really have meaning anymore. It's better to head back and prepare for the Tam Chuyen mission. Detailed information appears before him. Name Lum Han. Profession Beast. Master Scholar Ni. Chuyen Hidden Profession. Level 20. Strength 3, 290. Agility 2, 570. Spirit 2, 470. Constitution 2,000. No equipment. No skills. Level 2. Life Contract Level 2. Beast Space 2,000. Level 2. Beast Recovery Level 1. Malicious Vibration Level 1. Thunder Wings Level 1. Skill Copy Level 1. Poison Spike. Free Attribute Points 700. His next goal is the God Temple for class change. He reaches out to touch the large crystal before him, feeling sentimental. I never expected to reach the class change so quickly. He murmurs, voice slightly worried. And speaking of it, is it going to be another 5-star mission this time? The last time was a disaster for me. Just as the announcement echoes throughout the venue, the content of the announcement stuns everyone. The 5-star mission has been activated. A student exclaims, voice filled with astonishment. What the heck? What is this? Another 5-star mission? And it's only been a few days? Why are there so many perverts lately? The tour guide standing nearby looked tired, thinking to herself that it must be Lin Han again. Could he be in the same level of training? Lin Han found himself in a difficult position, mumbling angrily, Damn, they want materials this time too. Damn it, are they trying to drive me to death? A mission appeared before him. The mission title was The Whisper of the 5-Star Ghost Ship. Mission Content 1, board the ghost ship and eliminate all the ghosts. Mission Content 2, collect materials. Fire Dragon Flame Grass, Chi Star Wind, Chi Human. Location Ghost Ship, Crimson Flame. Forest. That night at the ghost ship dock, the deep ocean stretched out in darkness. Lin Han stood alone in the vast space, his gaze resolutely looking ahead, feeling sentimental. Initially, he planned to go home and take a nap to regain strength before doing the mission, but now everything is ruined. 2 beautiful girls. Jiak Ngi and Thien Kuk appeared beside him cheerfully, saying, Don't worry, Master with us here. Those missions are a piece of cake. We'll handle it in no time. Thien Kuk added, Thien Kuk will also protect Master very well. Lin Han sighed, a gentle smile. Of course, I trust you both. Time is running out. Let's get ready. The pitch-black sky ahead gradually changed, signaling that the target was about to appear. A strange, hazy ship appeared in sight, the ghost ship appearing at 7 p.m. Lin Han observed, curious. Previously, he had heard Sister Bang talk about the legend of the ghost ship. This is a very famous dungeon that attracts many challengers, but most are scared out of their wits. No one knows what horrors lie inside. Suddenly, a ghost rushed towards him, trying to scare him. Lin Han calmly threw a punch, causing it to vanish in an instant. Wow, is it really a ghost? But right after that, another monster appeared, looking down at him with a smug smile. Lin Han gritted his teeth in anger. Damn! Does this guy dare to mock me? He roared in rage. You think I can't touch you? He activated his thunder wings, soaring up, ready to fight. So you can fly, huh? Today I'm going to show you what it means to not do nothing and not die. The ghost was shattered into fragments. The system announced, successfully eliminated the ghost. Experience gained, you have reached the maximum limit that the second transition can bear. You need to complete the class change mission before finishing the third transition. You cannot continue to gain more experience. Lin Han heard the announcement from above, feeling excited. Sister Bang was right. Thunder really counters all types of spirit beasts. Ghosts of this type are absolutely fatal when faced with thunder. But looking down at the ocean, he pondered. Now he couldn't earn any experience, which was indeed a waste. It's better to quickly complete the mission. The longer it drags on, the more anxious he gets. Suddenly, a swarm of ghosts from above rushed to attack Lin Han. As expected, he quickly ordered, "Tianke, go for the super elimination." She replied firmly, "Got it, master." A powerful strike descended, sweeping everything away. Thunderstorm descended. The system announced continuously, "Eliminated ghost experience gained none. Eliminated ghost experience gained none. Eliminated ghost experience gained none." Lam Han observed, his gaze satisfied, but his heart rising with suspicion. These ghosts were no match for TNK, but this level of difficulty was only equivalent to a 4-star mission. Why was it rated 5-star? Suddenly, a wailing cry rang out. He saw the ghosts gradually merging, forming a gigantic entity ready to battle Captain Ghost, level 25. On the opposite side, the captain was raising his gun, firing a shot towards the enemy. Lam Han couldn't help but exclaim upon witnessing this scene. As if he had just been energized when that devilish captain joined the fray, the battle finally became more intense. Immediately, he ordered his pet, Anat, attack Thien Kok, disrupt the enemy's vision coordinate to support those two. As soon as he finished speaking, the group responded clearly in unison and immediately charged straight at the enemy without the slightest hesitation, like arrows shot from a drawn bow. From behind, Tianke unleashed a dazzling lightning strike directly at the opponent. That guy's hand was momentarily controlled by the blinding lightning, but he quickly swung his fist directly into the enemy's stomach, powerfully like a boulder rolling down a mountain. Over here, Tianke praised, "Not bad." The opponent responded with a faint smile, but his eyes clearly showed admiration. That lightning strike of hers was also quite formidable. Lam Han watched this scene with a bit of helplessness, shaking his head and sighing like an older brother trying to restrain his mischievous younger sisters. "You two team up to deal with that guy first? Got it, master?" The stimulation echoed once again. The ghostly captain became the target of the two girls. Jack delivered a punch as powerful as a tsunami crashing ashore. The guy could only grit his teeth and endure helplessly being knocked onto the deck above the ship, staggering like a leaf in a storm. From above, Tianke gathered a massive bolt of lightning like an electronic mountain, crashing down, thunder roaring. A tremendous energy struck directly at the ghost ship. At this moment, Lam Han was safely on shore. He exclaimed in surprise as if he had just witnessed a grand performance. "That's a bit too extravagant." Suddenly, the system interface appeared before him, announcing, "Successfully eliminated the ghost captain. Experience gained note. You have reached the maximum limit of the 4th job transfer. You need to accept a job transfer mission to surpass the limit. Before reaching the 3rd transition, you cannot accumulate more experience." The two girls on the ship had just completed their mission, looking down at Lam Han with bright smiles like 2 shining stars in the night sky. "Master Anhat has dealt with the enemy already. Anyat is super impressive." Lam Han smiled slightly secretly, evaluating in his heart like a strategist analyzing the battle. Even though it was the first time Anat and Thien Kok coordinated effectively, which was not trivial. The power of the ancient beasts teaming up was indeed not as simple as adding 2 + 1. Now the ghost ship has been destroyed. The next task is to find 3 types of materials. The mission board displayed the whisper of the 5-star ghost ship mission 1. Content is to hunt and kill. The ghost has been completed. Mission 2 content is to collect materials: fire, dragon flame, grass, chilin, fong, chi nyam. The ghost ship's location is the Red Flame Forest. The scenery quickly shifted to the Red Flame Forest, where the plants looked strange like creatures from another world. Lam Han, the main character, used his power to sense the surroundings. Countless monsters were lurking, their power unpredictable, like shadows lurking in the mist. Wind, lizard level 22, grass, lizard level 22. They were guarding a flower radiating a pale blue light, shimmering like jade under the moonlight. Once the target was identified, Lam Han opened his eyes. A confident smile appeared like a hunter who just discovered a valuable prey, unexpectedly finding the material so quickly. Thien Kok behind immediately spoke up, her voice full of excitement. "Master, that flower must be Fong Chi Nyam! Or should we use the old trick to fly over and get it?" Lam Han, with the caution of a commander, immediately replied, "No, the branches over there are too dense. It's not convenient for you to fly over." Unexpectedly, Jiak Ngi raised her hand, her face bright like morning sunlight. "Master Anat can help too." The first material was brought back by Thien Kok. Just 10 minutes later, Thien Kok was chased by the Wind Lizard level 22, holding a sparkling green gem like a dewdrop on a leaf. She stood in front of Lam Han, proudly reporting, "Master, I got the Thao Chi Lin." The praise immediately rang out like a deserved reward. "Thien Kok, you did great." Over there, Jacques Nhi was not to be outdone, her voice full of eagerness. "Anat wants to go too. Anat also wants to be praised by the master." Lam Han laughed in response. "Anat, then go ahead and enjoy." Lam Han and Jacques Nhi, with their excited demeanor, immediately dove into the ground like a drill piercing through the thick soil. Digging a tunnel was no different from a natural instinct for her. Like a bird flying in the sky, she appeared under a giant tree, her demeanor refreshing, as if she had just completed an interesting game. Lam Han stood watching, unable to help but exclaim, "The little ant is quite talented. It seems that Fong Chinyam is about to belong to me." The flower still radiated a brilliant light, shimmering like a star in the deep forest. But Lam Han cautiously reminded, "Don't be too optimistic. Before everything is completed, always stay alert." Jack quickly raised his hand to pick the flower. At that moment, a distortion occurred. Lam Han stood outside and shouted loudly, his voice full of worry. "Not good. Something is about to happen." A terrifying gust of wind suddenly swept in, lifting Jack and the flower into the air like a leaf caught in a tornado. The Wind Lizard gods immediately took notice, their eyes probing like hunters spotting their prey. When Jack landed safely with the flower, she angrily said, "This annoying wind made it so I got discovered." Immediately, the surrounding area was surrounded by countless monsters, like an iron encirclement with no way out. Jack stood tall. "I'm not afraid of you all." Lam Han, with the clarity of a strategist, commanded, "There are too many Wind Lizard gods. If we really fight, it will be disadvantageous for me." Thien Kok, quickly take her back. "Yes." Thien Kok rushed towards a few Wind Lizard gods, but with just one move, she knocked them away as fast as lightning. She hugged Jack, leaped into the air, disregarding the angry roars of the monsters. A stinky bird. One monster howled, but Thien Kok responded with a steely voice, "I'm taking her back as my master ordered." When landing safely, Thien Kok reported, "Master, I've brought her back." "Well done." Lam Han smiled, but his eyes showed seriousness. "Next, hurry to retreat." Behind them, countless Wind Lizard gods rushed forward at a terrifying speed, like a sandstorm sweeping across the desert. "Yes." The group hurriedly fled, the cries echoing throughout the vast Chi forest like a chaotic symphony of a life-and-death chase. "Damn it, just a flower and they're still chasing us this far." Lam Han muttered, his voice filled with frustration at their current speed. "Escaping from this pack of reptiles is still a tough challenge." The system panel suddenly appeared before Lam Han. Character information of the Beastmaster Scholar. Second transition, level 20, strength 3, 290 agility, 2, 570 spirit, 2, 470 physique, 2,000 free attribute points, 700. He immediately made a decisive move, funneling all free attribute points into agility. In the blink of an eye, the agility stat skyrocketed to 3,270. Lam Han dashed forward as fast as a lightning bolt tearing through the night. The beast beside him shouted in panic, "Master's speed is faster now." Lam Han smiled, his voice full of confidence. "Yes. Anat, Thien Kok, try a little harder. We'll be fine up ahead." The two girls looked surprised. "What's up ahead? What does the master mean?" As they ventured deeper into the Chi forest, the scenery before them became strange. Countless fierce flames enveloped the space like a sea of fire, burning everything. The monsters behind immediately stopped, not daring to advance, as if they were afraid of something far more terrifying. The master intentionally ran this way, right? Lam Han nodded, his gaze sharp like a war general. "That's right. Deep inside the Chi forest is the domain of the Overlord. Even the Wind Lizard God Alliance and the Grass Lizard gods do not dare to confront them." A burning leaf hung in the air before them like a guiding flame of fate. Moreover, the third target, material Fire Dragon Flame, is the treasure in the Fire Lizard God herd. You excitedly continued, heading towards the high-temperature area. "We are almost at the place where the Fire Lizard gods are. Completing the mission, we will go back to rest." The two girls responded enthusiastically. All right. Ahead, countless level 22 Fire Lizard gods were resting by the hot lava flow like creatures from hell. The thought voice spoke up, sounding curious. "Master, those reptiles are bathing in lava." Lam Han narrowed his eyes. His gaze locked onto a deep blue light in the distance. "Found it, Fire Dragon Flame? This area has an open terrain very suitable for TNK to roam." Suddenly, the system interface appeared. "Congratulations, Master. Mission activated. Mission name, Awakening. The content is to awaken the sleeping Fire Lizard God Leader and destroy it with a reward of 1,000 Beastmaster points." Lam Han was surprised internally, quickly calculating like a chess player considering a move. The Fire Lizard God leader seems to be one among them that is stronger than 1,000 Beastmaster points. Quite tempting, but if surrounded by the Fire Lizard Gods, it would be very difficult to maneuver. He decided to first complete the job transfer mission, then think of a way to deal with the leader. Yes, he pointed ahead, ordering, "TNK, go get the Fire Dragon Flame here." With a terrifying speed, TNK appeared by the tree as fast as a whirlwind. The thought voice triumphantly shouted, "Stinky Bird, got it, Master, got it." Lam Han smiled. This mission was not difficult at all. Not bad. Next, think of a way to handle the Fire Lizard Gods. Suddenly, a beam of light rushed from behind, but with their speed, both easily dodged. A voice rang out arrogantly, "Kid, you're really lucky." A group of people appeared. One pointed at Lam Han, loudly saying, "Hand over the Fire Dragon Flame to me. I can make you die quickly and with less pain." Lam Han remained calm as a still lake. "Who are you, opening your mouth to demand my stuff based on what?" The other guy laughed loudly, his tone self-satisfied. "Here, self-satisfied, just because I am a member of the Magic Association, unlike the trash like you. In the future, I have limitless prospects." His information panel appeared, Loi Dong level 18 Thunderstorm Mage member of the Magic Association. Lam Han quickly analyzed the Magic Association, an organization that recruits awakened careers, but in reality it is just a toxic gang that specializes in extorting protection fees from civilians. He continued to growl, "If you know what's good for you, quickly hand over the Fire Dragon Flame and I will let you go." A cunning guy behind interjected, "Boss, wait, look, the girl behind that kid." His gaze swept over Tian-Ke and Jock, thinking, "Two beautiful girls with round figures, they are top-notch." Loi Dong smugly smirked, pointing at the two girls standing behind Lam Han. "I reconsidered, hand your girl over to me so these guys can have fun." Lam Han frowned, responding with a tone full of contempt, "Truly trash. How can trash deserve to show its face? It must be completely destroyed to protect the environment." Loi Dong shouted, pointing directly at you, his tone arrogant. "Kid, what nonsense are you talking about?" He declared proudly, "If you don't know your place, I will cut off your limbs and throw you into the sea of fire of the gods." His subordinates shouted in unison, "Yes!" Manhwa swung his hand, a fireball erupted, aimed straight at Lam Han. "Kid brother Loi cares about you. Do you dare to resist? It's not just as simple as cutting off limbs." Thien Troc from behind also chimed in, "That's right." Lam Han remained calm, only letting his two subordinates take action. Anyit rushed forward, delivering a storm-like kick, each one landing a painful blow. "Dare to harm our master!" Thien Kok continued coldly, looking for death. In an instant, Loi Dong's subordinates were knocked to the ground. Loi Dong's eyes widened, unable to believe. "How are these two so strong?" Lam Han, after an impressive display, stepped forward calmly, threatening, "Let me introduce myself. I am a level 20 Beast Master Scholar, and these two girls are my beasts." He smirked and continued, "They are ancient, fierce beasts. Tearing you apart will be easy." Loi Dong gritted his teeth, feeling fear, thinking, "Beast transformation. Can we still play like this?" But behind him, he secretly prepared a lightning ball, calculating, "Beasts are not easy to leave their masters. It would be better to seriously injure this kid and take the opportunity to escape." Thinking of this, Loi Dong hurriedly threw the lightning ball from close range towards Lam Han, but Thien Kok was faster, raising her hand to block it with the technique of not bow. "With me here, don't even think about touching the master." Loi Dong was astonished. Before he could react, a knot charged in, delivering a strong kick to his stomach. "Dare to touch the master? A knot hit you." She continued to kick relentlessly, each strike fueled by anger. "I will beat you to death." Seeing the situation getting out of hand, Lam Han quickly intervened. "A knot don't kill him. I still need to use him." Obeying, a knot stopped, tightly binding Loi Dong and his group in a circle. Loi Dong panicked and asked, "What are you planning to do?" He continued, trembling. "I advise you to release me quickly. If you dare to harm me, the Mage Association will not spare you." Lam Han approached, a cold smile on his face, his gaze sharp as a knife. "We have no enmity, no grudge. Why would I harm you?" He grabbed Loi Dong's head, making him tremble in fear. "Moreover, I have a mission that I need you to help with." Loi Dong stuttered, his voice trembling. "What do you want to do?" Not knowing what was to be done, but just threatening until they screamed. Their screams echoed through the mountains and forests, but no one responded. At this moment, the whole group had been bound by Lam Han with ropes hanging suspended from above. Loidong and his companions screamed in fear for help. Thienkuk held the rope suspended in the air, coldly shouted, "Haven't you eaten yet? Shout out loud!" Looking down into the fiery red mouth of lava, Loidong panicked and yelled, "Please have mercy!" Absolutely don't let go. We were wrong, truly wrong. Please spare our lives. Surrounding them was not only the boiling hot lava, but also a pack of fierce fire lizards lurking, their eyes gleaming, ready to pounce. Lumhan observed the scene, his eyes sparkling with interest. "Thienkuk, is it stable to stay at this height?" You asked, your tone full of meaning. Anat is curious. What does the master want to do? Lumhan smirked and replied, "Aren't we going to deal with the fire lizard god? If we want to fish, we need bait." Loidong heard faintly his voice trembling as he asked back, "Bait? Where's bait?" Just then the rope binding him suddenly snapped. Lumhan coldly continued, "We must make them create an even bigger commotion." He ordered Thienkuk to drop Loidong onto the rock outcrop in the middle of the lava. Below, the fire lizard gods immediately slithered forward. Loidong in fear shot out wild bolts of lightning. "Don't come here! Don't come here!" But these fire lizards seemed forged from steel, unconcerned by his lightning. His subordinates screamed in panic, "Brother Loi, your attack doesn't work on them! Help, I don't want to die." The aggressive fire lizard gods rushed in, their desperate cries echoed, help!" Lamhan looked in the scene, disdainfully snorted, "Useless things. Tianke, protect them a little, don't let them die right now." Tianke smiled, nodded to obey. "Understood, master." She immediately unleashed Thunderstrike, raining down like a storm, bolts of lightning striking directly at the fire lizard gods. Lamhan proudly praised, "Very good, keep it up, make it even more chaotic." Suddenly, the lava surface trembled and a giant fire column erupted. The level 28 fire lizard god appeared majestically before everyone. Lamhan excitedly shouted, "Caught a big fish." Yes, he immediately commanded, "Tianke, take action," then continued to command in a sharp voice, "Very good, hatred has been drawn now. Quickly pull the target over here." Tianke nodded and complied. "Understood, master." Anhat stood beside blood boiling, turned and asked, "Master, how should we deal with those 4 vile ones?" Lamhan coldly replied, "Leave them be. With such little power, they will soon meet their end in the crowd of fire lizards." He added, "Those guys are skilled at killing and robbing clearly seasoned criminals. Just by looking, one can tell they are habitual offenders. If the crowd of fire lizards doesn't kill them, I will handle it myself." Anat nodded, eyes agreeing, smiling in approval. After giving orders, Lamhan focused on the immediate task, temporarily setting aside all other calculations. Seeing Tianke skillfully lure the fire lizard god towards them, Anat immediately charged in to attack. "Yes, understood, master." A loud blast rang out like a gigantic rock collapsing. With her petite frame, Anat struck a powerful punch, twisting the face of the beast under the fierce blows. Anyut continuously threw powerful punches, cracking its tough shell. Truly excellent. Anyut maintained the dominant position, first testing the strength of the opponent. With legs as slender as a beauty queen, she kicked the beast far away. Tianke immediately coordinated, not giving it a chance to breathe. "Understood, master." She acted decisively, not missing a single moment. Lamhan watched with satisfaction. Although the fire lizard god has superior rank, with the harmonious cooperation of Anat and Tianke, we can definitely take it down slowly. Just as the words ended, a piercing shriek rang out, causing Lamhan to hold his head in pain. Anyat asked, "What's going on?" The fire lizard god roared, creating a whirlwind that lifted both girls into the air. It shot out a giant fireball, causing Lamhan to panic. "Not good!" Anyat and Tianke quickly used their bodies to shield Anat. The fireball slammed into a nearby mountain, causing a terrifying explosion. Tianke, despite the pain, still tried to descend gently. Seeing her struggling appearance, Lamhan and Anat couldn't help but worry. "Tianke, are you okay?" You hurry to check the wound. At level 20, both of them find it hard to make up the 8-level gap with the mission beast. It's important, but if Thienkuk or Anyat is in danger, that would be an unacceptable loss. "Master, we can still continue." Thienkuk gritted her teeth, surprising Lamhan with her resilience. Thienkuk slowly flew up. "The master is doing something very important. We cannot easily give up. Moreover, even if we retreat, the Fire Lizard King will still chase us." Anyat, with determined, fiery eyes, said, "That's right. The master's business is also Anat's business. Anyat must help the master fulfill her wish." Both girls charged straight at the beast. "Master, don't worry. We will definitely help you complete the mission." "That's right." Anat and Daidyu will do their best. Lam Han was moved. The two girls did not expect they would cherish and think of him this way, seeing them fight with all their might. He told himself to plan carefully. He couldn't let them suffer any more harm. The giant body of the Fire Lizard King had a solid defense, making it hard for Anat and Thien Kuk to deal effective damage. Lam Han felt a headache, realizing that a direct attack was not feasible. He needed to change tactics. Suddenly, his face lit up as if he had just come up with an idea. He discovered the wound on the beast's neck, caused by Anat, immediately signaling both of them. Anat, Thien Kuk, hold the formation, find a way to widen the wound on the neck of the Fire Lizard King. The two girls obediently followed. Although they didn't understand their master's intention, they absolutely trusted him. Anyat charged in for a fierce attack, targeting the wound directly. She persisted in accumulating damage bit by bit, widening the crack as Anat retreated. Lam Han immediately ordered Thien Kuk to quickly supplement the attack. Receiving the command, she controlled the lightning to strike continuously at the wound. Got it, master! After a while of being tormented, the beast finally collapsed. But before they could rejoice, the familiar figure rose again, leaving both of them stunned. The Fire Lizard King was still alive. They were disappointed. After fighting for so long, is it still not effective? Lam Han's voice rang out deep but sharp. Not enough yet. Anyat and Thien Kuk had only inflicted superficial wounds on the Fire Lizard King. He gathered strength and shot up into the sky at an incredible speed. The system displayed Thunderbolt wings activated. The lightning copy skill helped him accelerate in the blink of an eye. Lam Han surpassed both girls, but this only worked when they coordinated separately. He charged forward, fist raised high, aiming straight at the bleeding wound on the beast's neck. I can copy and use their skills so the damage will be much stronger. The punch landed like salt on the cut, painfully deep to the bone. Lam Han's expression had a hint of humor even while exerting all his strength. He drew the lightning and suddenly thrust his hand into the open wound. Stinky Lizard, this is a billion-volt voltage. The giant body of the Fire Lizard King jolted, shaking violently. This time you are just a pile of burning coal. After defeating the beast, the system announced, the mission to awaken and destroy the Fire Lizard King is complete. A reward of 1,000 beast mastery points has been received. Anyat and Thien Kuk cheered joyfully. Thanks to the master, our level has increased too. Great, now Anat is really powerful. Suddenly a pair of radiant wings appeared behind Lam Han. He looked at his blood-stained hands and sighed softly. Finally, it's over. The sparkling wings gradually disappeared. Lam Han was exhausted, staggering, causing Anat and Thien Kuk to rush over to support him. Master, it's okay, just overexerted the skill, just a bit tired. The three left the battlefield. The remnants of the Magic Association are probably trying to hold on. The Fire Lizard herd is about to arrive. We should leave here quickly, rest for a night, and then head to the transfer hall. The next morning, the sunlight covered the space beautifully, like a painting. Although knowing this is just a comic, Lam Han smiled as the system announced the completion of the job transfer mission. You have achieved the third job transfer for the Beast Master Elite. He was satisfied. The third transfer is not easy and has awakened 2 additional skills. This mission was truly worthwhile. People around marveled at the announcement board. I remember that mission just came out the day before yesterday, and yet it was completed so quickly. Impressive. With this leveling speed, how can a human achieve that? The receptionist burst into laughter, her eyes sparkling with delight. Haha, look at you guys as if you've never seen anything in your life. Since witnessing Lam's abnormal leveling speed now, I wouldn't be surprised if the sun rose from the west. Lam Han turned his head slightly, his gaze resting on the two girls. Anat, Thien Kuk, how much stronger are you now? Anyat raised her face, unable to hide her pride. Master, I'm so excited, my voice full of life. Anat feels so much stronger now, full of energy. Lam Han did not expect that in such a short time the results would be so astonishing. Thien Kuk was not to be outdone either. The feeling after leveling up exuded an indescribable confidence. This result left Lam Han in awe, his mouth agape. Looking at the two girls, he couldn't help but feel a bit dejected. This level up even helped me unlock a new combat form. They had been farmed. Anat and Thien Kuk, these two must have been farmed to perfection. But soon after, Lam Han quickly regained his composure. Despite being 1 level apart, the stats between us are still so vastly different, he thought to himself. But then smiling, after all, they are both my summoned beasts, the stronger the better. He focused on the system panel, murmuring, the rewards for this tri-transformation are too numerous. I haven't finished looking through them all. These skills all look so solid, I wonder which one to choose. Without hesitation, Lam Han ordered the system to use all summoned beast points to upgrade the skills for Anat and Thien Kok. The two girls, curiously with bright eyes, asked, "Anat, Master, what is this?" Anat asked eagerly, "That's the fusion of the host. Choosing this fusion is really cool. Merging as one with the host will definitely be a wonderful experience." Lam Han felt a bit flustered, his heart racing. If combining the power of heavenly insight and the agility of Thunder Emperor, it will surely surpass merely copying skills. He pondered, if I choose fusion facing wild beasts like the Fire Lizard King in the future, I won't have 7 forms anymore. But then he briefly doubted whether the motivations of these two were serious. After all, upon reaching quad transformation, other skills will emerge anyway. The two girls cheered, their eyes sparkling. "Master is the best. This time just choose a simple yet powerful skill." "Thank you, Master, for choosing the skill. We must find an opportunity to try it out right away." As soon as Lam Han finished speaking, something unexpected caught his attention. The three of them focused on the system screen where a new mission had just appeared. "Master, they seem quite surprised," Anat exclaimed. "Oh, so fast. It turns out the host completing the tri-transformation of the elite summoned beast has activated the third inner beast binding mission. The mission reward is 1,500 summoned beast points." Lam Han raised his eyebrows excitedly. The third inner beast, binding the reward of 1,500 summoned beast points, sounds appealing. But unexpectedly, a knot beside him burst into tears. This kind of mission really guarantees profit. There's nothing to lose. Thien Kok quickly approached, gently comforting. "Even if the Master binds a new inner beast, he won't abandon us, right, Master?" Her sweet voice, but Thien Kok's body emanated a threatening aura. Lam Han forced a smile and shook his head. "Of course, our top priority now is to continue leveling up. After all, there is still a mission that needs to be addressed next." Both girls gasped. "Oh, is it a big deal?"